Game 3 of the
boy.
2022 Calder Cup Finals. First game in Springfield, Chicago Wolves, Springfield Thunderbirds. What else can we really say?
What really can
And then here we go, guys.
I don't know about you. I'm pretty hyped up right about now. First game in that. It's called the Thunderdome. I'm already like that nickname itself. I do love me some Bojangles Coliseum down there in Charlotte, but how do you not get up and jumping with the Thunderdome? So,
right.
Looks like we got the anthem coming up here. Where I'm fired up. I know you're fired up. I know our listeners back at home are fired up, and. What a pivotal game here, especially with that split in Allstate. I don't know how many people were calling that one, but that makes this stretch so much bigger, I think,
But can we talk about Chicago's bounce back from game 1 into game 2? Because after game 1, like, it would have been so easy for Chicago to just kind of be paralyzed almost, because Springfield looked amazing, and it would have been so easy for Chicago to just kind of, okay, whatever, we still have home ice advantage, but they came back. So like, this is going to be so pivotal to see what Springfield does.
Yeah. Chicago really played that game 2 like it was a must-win game 6 type of scenario, because right, if you go down 0-2 and you're facing 3 straight games in Springfield, I don't want to say pack it up, but that's a tough ask. And so they wanted to come out, and man, they came out flying. And what a game. And now the ball's in Springfield's court. You got the home crowd in front of you. How are you going to respond after you kind of got dummied in that game 2? There was a bit of hesitation at the end of the second where it's like, oh, are they coming back in it? And then, well, they didn't. But I don't honestly know. Kochekov is getting the start here. I thought he'd be getting the start after that great game 2, but that's a big one. They've been kind of rotating back and forth, Lyon Kochekov, and Kochekov's got that. 2 straight starts now. If that's not a vote of confidence from your coach, I don't know what is.
Oh, 100%. So it's Pyotr Kochekov versus Charlie Lindgren in net. I just want to say massive props to the anthem singer in Springfield. He did a fantastic job just now.
My volume is muted, so I'm going to trust your word on that.
It was good. It was good. I'm sitting here. First of all, his sweater that he had on, great. I want it. The vocal performance, great. I'd love to hear more of it.
Well, we got 2 more games, so you're going to hear more of it.
Nice. Bring him back. So if you're watching this and you want to get in on the conversation, either join us over on the YouTube channel, join our live chat there, or if you're on Facebook or Twitter, use the hashtag THG, just like the Holy Grail, THG Live. And who knows, maybe we'll answer your question or show your tweet, your question here live on the broadcast. But here we are, game 3, just about ready for puck drop.
Yep. Oh, man. Oh, I got the jitters. Here we go. This is going to be a big one. And it seems like every game, Coach Warsofsky starts off the Jack Drury line. And you got Josh Levo, who's been, if anything, one of the most impactful players in the whole playoffs out there, and Drury down the middle, David Gus, the energy on that right wing. But this is what this team does right on the look at that great chance by Gus there that just goes wide on that first shift. But they come out flying, and they set the tone, man. And coach knows he's got his guys, and he knows that he puts them out for that first shift. You get an icing. Springfield's been out there for quick, fast 30 seconds. And if I had to guess, here comes the Podorowski line to follow up. So
putting odds on that. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised.
FanDuel. No, I'm not kidding. But hey, look at that. Here comes the Pots line.
There you go.
But okay, yep, nice save there by Lindgren. But man, I just every game that Drury line starts, and I think it was game 2 against Stockton. Jack Drury scores 17 seconds into the game. I mean, this team they know how to set that pace on that opening faceoff. I think he had an opening shift score against Milwaukee. I want to say it was game 2 as well. So those are the guys. And Coach Warsofsky knows that, you know, they're going to make an impact on that opening shift, set the tone, and get these guys ready, especially on the road. You know, that's so important to get those guys out there and to get you in the flow of your game early, you know. So again, I have my volume muted, but tell me, how's the Thunderdome sounding early on here? Is it thunderous?
Well, not as much as I was anticipating, but I also don't know. For full disclosure, I am listening to the Chicago audio at this moment. Okay. So it could just be a matter of perspective, but I was expecting a little bit more. Let me switch audio feeds.
I am going to keep an eye out. I know there's a number of Chicago Wolves fans that had made the journey over, and a number of fans down from Carolina that, and I believe I see a couple Wolves jerseys in the corner there. So if we got some followers, I'm gonna shout you out and holler at your boy, whoever that is. But yeah, it's always good seeing the dedication of these fans to make those drives out for a big game like this.
I will say the crowd sounds a lot louder on the Springfield feed than it does on the Chicago feed. So there we go.
It's all about perspective.
I guess I was expecting a few more people on their feet, but maybe they're just easing their way into this. They know it's going to be same as the players. It's going to be a bit of a marathon here, and you don't want to waste all your energy. Oh, what a hit!
A runaway train there. I wanna catch the number of that one. He didn't make a whole lot of contact, but man, that was dangerous coming through.
It looks like it was Kevin Fitzgerald versus. I cannot tell. The number is very blurry for Springfield.
There's too much action going on.
Way too much action.
God. I kind of want to say, as a Griffins beat writer as well, it kind of breaks my heart seeing Luke Witkowski in Springfield jersey. Like, I love it for him. I'm so glad that he's out here making a difference and being a big impact on this team.
It was Luke Witkowski.
Oh, was it Luke Witkowski?
Yes.
Feeling. I saw him like he's lining up at forward, and he was used primarily as a defender over there in Grand Rapids. So that makes sense. I mean, on the forecheck, he's a wrecking ball really anywhere he goes. But I feel like when he's lined up at forward, I don't want to say he's not as responsible defensively, but he's gonna he's got his lanes in the railroad tracks, and he takes full advantage of them. Whereas on defense, it's more about, kind of defending your net first.
Well, one thing that's always given is if Luke Witkowski's on your roster, at some point he's going to be playing as a forward, even though he's technically he's going to be playing forward and defense at some point. They always switch him around. It's like him and Dylan Simpson. Those two are are they defensemen? Are they forwards? Well, it's a grab bag. I had to throw out my Monsters reference. I'm living vicariously through the Wolves and the Thunderbirds right now.
I'm digging how many jerseys I'm seeing on the road here. Shout out to Wolves fans for coming up and representing in the Calder Cup Finals.
Now, are Wolves fans kind of spread out, throughout the country, or is it just, their little hometown contingent that are racking up the frequent flyer miles right now?
I mean, obviously, Illinois first and foremost, and they're very unique in how much their affiliation has switched around so often in their existence. Your latest contingent of Wolves fans are going to be coming out of North Carolina these days with their affiliation with the Canes. So there's a couple that I think made the drive from up there. I know Sam Wismer, who I had the pod with last night. She's not necessarily a Wolves fan, but she's a big Alex Lyons fan. So she's rooting for the Wolves here, and she's going to be going up there on Friday, and I believe she's based out of Pennsylvania. So there's all kind of like these these ties to the team that get everyone in there. And oh boy, that looked like it was a trip, but looks like the ref's arm stays down. All right, that's
Wolves Springfield the Wolves just got the puck out. Springfield's kind of swarming here. Although surprisingly, we're getting a little bit of a dust up here. So, of course, Will Bitten's in on this one. Joey Keene's in. Andrew Podorowski, Kevin Fitzgerald. Some of Tommy Cross. I mean, come on.
Nice little face wash there from Joey Keene.
All of the usual suspects. But surprisingly, there's only been one shot officially on this game going to Chicago. We are in a little bit of break as the refs try to break up this little planning committee. There's 15:45 remaining in the first period.
That's a big gold chain. I wonder if they're related to Luke Witkowski. I know I asked about it earlier to Will Bitten and Sam Anas, and apparently that gold chain didn't follow Luke from Grand Rapids to Springfield, which honestly kind of breaks my heart, but it seems like his sense of humor is still there. So
that's sad.
Yeah, I loved it. That was a great presser. I mean, he's just a guy full of character. Oh, that was kind of a dangerous pass there from Spencer Smallman, but Joey Keene, he's just so good at getting the puck away from pressure, and look, that leads right to a breakout and the Wolves on the attack.
Well, we're getting a little bit of friendly fire here.
Attack, but there was something resembling an attack.
Well, if you're joining us here live, feel free to hop on Twitter and use the hashtag THG. So just like our name, the Holy Grail, hashtag THG live. Give us your thoughts. Give us your questions. We'll try to answer them for you. Or if you are watching us live on YouTube, feel free to post your questions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys. But 15:09 remaining in the first. We're getting a Chicago offensive zone face-off here.
Oh, yeah, it's Matthew Pekka, who's been really good on the dot, and I'm seeing that's Jack Drury, who has been good himself, and that's a win for Pekka.
So, Andrew, did you notice who's back in the lineup for Chicago?
Yes, I noticed. I did my homework this time around.
CJ Smith.
That's CJ. Yep, CJ is back, and it's Noel Gunler who's going to be taking the seat because Ivan Ladny has just been too much of a machine for Coach Warsofsky to really keep out of this lineup. Good keep at the line, whoever that was there. Ooh, boy, puck's bouncing around, but nothing super dangerous. I mean, we're 5 minutes in, not a whole lot of great chances. That one came from distance, but Springfield didn't really have anyone in front of the net, so Kochekov was able to see that the whole way. And it's a bit reminds me a bit of more of the Stockton series, where it's kind of like a feeling out process. It's more of a chess match than we got in game 2, where the Wolves came out flying and it was already 3-0 by this point in the game. But not a whole lot of great chances. I mean, some pucks to the net. I think Chicago's looking to establish a lot more traffic in front of the net than, the initial couple shifts that Springfield had. But yeah, see, shot to the net, and Kochekov's got no one in front of him. He's able to grab it, get a whistle, get a face-off, and Luke Witkowski throws a punch because that's what Luke Witkowski does.
Basically, Luke Witkowski doing Luke Witkowski things.
100%. Yeah. If anyone's been familiar with this game, that's just what he does. I was really happy when Detroit brought him back. He never really got a chance to go up with the Red Wings. He studied the blue line quite a bit over there in Grand Rapids, but they had a number of issues this season that I'm not going to get into because they're, it's the playoffs. They're not really relevant at this point. And I always kind of get digs in on them, and I hope that the Griffins don't hate me for it. But
I'm sure you're good.
He was involved in that Nick Leddy trade at the trade deadline that sent him over to the St. Louis organization. They brought him over here to Springfield, and just another big veteran presence to kind of steady out this roster. And when you got a guy that can play both up front, play defense. We're at a media timeout here, so there's not a lot of game going on. But yeah, 6 minutes in and 3 shots apiece. Nothing really super dangerous for either team. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say shout out to the Springfield community. There's a little bit of a break in the action here as the officials patch up some ice in front of Charlie Lindgren, but they just announced that for the first time ever, the Calder Cup Finals are being broadcast in Springfield on local TV.
Hey.
So spreading the game, spreading the organization. I mean, that's amazing. Good on them.
Absolutely. Making moves. I like it.
All right. It looks like we've got that ice fixed in front of Lindgren. And once the linesman gets set, we will get a puck dropped here. We got 13:46 remaining in the first. Still scoreless. Shots, 3 Chicago, 3 for Springfield. And of course, another face-off, another Chicago win.
It's gonna be when you're so paper thin in the difference of talents. Oh boy, there's a big run by who's that, number 5 on Springfield? That's Tyler Tucker throwing a big hit along the boards. But when you're so close and the margin of error is so paper thin that it's all the little details like face-offs, like board battles that you really kind of start to dial in on, because whoever can find the advantage in any area of the game where it's possible. Oh man, that was a big rising shot there. That was really kind of the first real good look for either team. I think that was Nason, guy who knows how to put the puck in the net, and he just kind of floated it over the crossbar there. But again, I keep getting away from it. But when you're so tight knit and you're so close, I mean, we saw a lot of it in the Stockton series, that those little details are going to be what ends up deciding the series.
Hugh McGing actually just had a nice little takeaway. It was a bobbling puck, but he had his eye on it. Unfortunately for Springfield, it didn't amount to much because he was deep in the Chicago zone and he had about 4 guys on him. So there wasn't going to be much that he could do, but way to stay with the play.
Yeah. Hugh McGing is a guy who's like, I remember when we were up in Traverse City watching the Blues prospects play the Red Wings prospects, and Hugh McGing was a guy who really stood out on that team. And just his ability to just be all over the ice and to make a play wherever he could. And he's just a motor, great skater. When he's moving like that, he's everywhere, and it's hard to get away from him. It's very frustrating as a guy who can't skate to be around guys who can skate. You just can't seem to get any space or any time. So he had a real good game 1, really good game 2. Going to be a guy that this team's gonna rely on, and his level of production is really going to carry this team one way or the other, I believe.
Is it just me, or is this feeling pretty timid?
It's definitely like no team wants to make that first mistake here, and I don't want to make too much of Coach Warsawski's comments, but like that's a turnover for Matthew Pekka there, and it just neither team. I think they want to get something done, but I think both teams are also kind of, that was a bit of a weird play. Both teams are also they're locking it down. They're starting, with defensive structure first, and then moving on the attack from there. Oh, there's a blown tire, but nothing super inconsequential. Look, there's guys back and for Chicago, and they recover.
Well, we want to welcome Corey Schwartz on to the podcast. He's able to join us. So, Corey, welcome on in. I don't know how much you've seen, but if you have seen any of this game, what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it here to start off. It's like you guys were saying here, a little bit of a. I was just saying it feels like it's more of a game one of a series than a game three, because you feel you already have these 2 games under your belt. Should be ready to rumble here, but it seems like the change in locations kind of caused a reset here. We're kind of like restarting, for lack of a better word, and we're back to a feeling out process here in the early going, it seems.
I was going to say, I don't think Chicago minds that at all. I think it's got a very kind of game 3 when they were in Stockton feel to it. And, it's like I said, start off defense first on the road. It's easy to get like the early goal to really take a crowd out of a playoff game. But you know what else takes a crowd out of a playoff game is playing a really boring brand of hockey. And I feel like, there hasn't been a lot for the Thunderbirds fans to really get up about. There's a good chance from, I believe that's CJ Smith in front of the net.
That was Smith, yeah.
It was Smith. Hey, welcome back to the lineup. And he's been in there for a couple games now. But
Tommy Cross down in front. He I didn't see who he gave the shove to. Maybe Ladnia, and he just gave a shove, smiled, and skated right on out of there. That is a veteran move.
Oh yeah, took the words right out of my mouth on that one. Tommy Cross has been around for a long time, and seen him play for a number of very competitive Atlantic Division teams over the years. It was especially a thorn in the side to my Hershey Bears over the years here for sure. And that's it's exactly on brand for him. He's one of those guys. He plays smart, but he plays on the nose, and he gets under your skin. You really learn to dislike him when you're playing against him. But I think seeing him on Springfield here, he's been obviously he's the captain. He's been a huge part of their reason why their identity. I mean, he sums up their identity in a nutshell, honestly.
All right, we got a quick break in the action here. They're scraping the ice. 9:43 remaining in the first. Chicago leading in shots 5-4, still 0-0. But if you guys want to get in on the conversation, join us. Tweet at the hashtag THGLive. Well, our fearless leader here at the Field Pass Hockey is getting in on the action. I asked people questions, comments, want to share your favorite crumble cookie? Well, we have a vote for the M&M's cookie. Matthew Harding, partial to the M&M cookie, but he says, but man, those bad boys are huge.
Oh yeah, I actually had my first bit of crumble cookie inspired by the Wolves' love for their sweet, delicious treats, and pretty oh boy, not mouth scramble, but Springfield manages to clear it out. Sorry, you're gonna get a lot of double thoughts going on here. All right. Okay, we're not all right. See, Springfield's kind of they're buzzing, but Chicago's not letting them into the high danger areas. Panik boxes his guy out and clears the puck out of the zone. It's kind of exactly the opposite of what happened in game 1, where Chicago is kind of letting Springfield run all over them around the crease and got a couple of second chance looks on the rebounds and deflections. So the Thunderbirds are getting these shots from deep, from the boards, outside the box area, and it's a puck on net's never a bad play, but you got to have a guy there who's going to get in the eyes of the goalie, who's gonna, if you're not going to get a stick on it, at least be there for a rebound. And there hasn't been a whole lot of net front presence in front of Kochetkov, and credit to Chicago's defense. They're not allowing that time and space there for Springfield's forwards.
I'd like to go back to my hot take from the previous episode and say that I think that Charlie Lindgren probably should have been in for game 2 again, possibly. But, they did exactly as they've been doing, and it's worked out for, I think it's it didn't work out quite so well somewhat on Hofer and some more so on the defense, I think, personally. But, compared to game 1, I think that Lindgren's probably going to be the guy from this point going on here, and he's played well. I mean, obviously there hasn't been 2 tons of grade A chances, as Troy Mann used to say, so far in this one, but I think it's had a calming presence on them in a sense.
Yeah, what you're getting with that big veteran presence back there, and not that Springfield doesn't know what they're getting in Hofer or anything. They've seen quite a bit this postseason what he's capable of, but it's different when you got a guy who's kind of calm and stable in there. Springfield didn't help him out a bit in that game 2, but I didn't think that first goal, that rebound, probably shouldn't have been kicked out into the slot the way that it was. Smallman's shot, and it was a good shot. It's really tough to get those low glove shots to get your glove down or your pad up, but those are tough situations where a guy like Lindgren's gonna, I don't want to say he would have those pucks, but I think you kind of feel that he's gonna battle back there. And Springfield, they were very tentative and didn't play with the confidence that they had in game 1, and ultimately it led to the result that you saw, where here, I can already tell they already look more comfortable getting the puck out. I mean, you just look at the guy making the play there. Not the best play, but
got it out of the zone.
It's out of the zone. That's what matters, right? Maybe coach doesn't want you to take a spinorama at your goal line, but the puck's out. That's what matters.
I will say I do absolutely agree with you in the idea that, there are a couple goals that were, I think timid is probably the right word for it, in that, first goal was a bang play on a rebound where a rebound got kicked out to the side like you like it to, but almost right onto Panik's stick. And, nobody was around to, to check him or to really, but it happened that fast. Second goal, there was a bit of a screen on it, I think, if I recall it correctly, in that, they had bodies to the net there. I don't think he got quite the look on it that he wants. And, it was a bit of a deceptive shot as well. So, I mean, you could take it either way. And, at face value, you'd say, yeah, he probably should have had that. But it was a little bit. And then, they absolutely got buried by the 5-on-3 for 2 full minutes there, too. I mean, with a team like Chicago, just try to stop them. It's not going to happen, honestly. When you get the guys they have for 2 full minutes like that, that's hard for sure.
Yeah, they're not. It's more of like how well can we slow them down? You can't try to put a wall up, or they're going to find a way around it at one point or another. So you just got to make it as tough on them as you possibly can. And I think Springfield is, I mean, again, I know it's kind of, I don't want to say a boring game, because we kind of tend to think like, oh, if there's a lot of goals, it's exciting and it's, it gets the heart rate going a bit. But defensive hockey isn't boring to me. And I think both teams are really kind of moving their chess pieces around and seeing what the pace is going to be. And again, I think Chicago's perfectly fine with playing a boring game on the road in the playoffs. I think they love the fact that, maybe outside of Luke Witkowski doing his best Raiden from Mortal Kombat impression, trying to fly through the air after Chicago Wolf, there hasn't really been a whole lot to cheer for in this game for either side. And I
think this is kind of more of what we may have anticipated to see, that, there's 2 very, unique styles. And you mentioned it earlier, referenced it. It's a little bit more of a chess match. And I think that's, what makes the Calder Cup Finals exciting and tense, is that, it's not high flying, high scoring, craziness all the time, but, it's one of those things where the defense has magnified the mistakes for potential, game changers here rather than 5 goals. We're going to be looking at, maybe 2 or 3 in total for the game. And, there's still, as we're seeing right now, still a good amount of tension between the two teams that's carried over a bit. And look who's in the middle.
We got Cross and Podorowski.
Dakota Joshua has been one of those guys. Again, another guy I really tune into in Traverse City in that prospects tournament. And it looks like is Potts and Cross going on this one?
It looks like the referee waved 2 hands over there.
Yeah, but we're going to have Andrew Podorowski. This is at 14:06 of the first. We have Andrew Podorowski and Tommy Cross both going to the box for 2 minutes. But strangely enough, that whole scuffle started between Dakota Joshua and Jalen Chatfield.
Jalen Chatfield, yeah. I was saying about Joshua. He's been a real spark plug for the Thunderbirds physically, and even though he kind of had a boneheaded boarding penalty against Jack Drury in Game 2 that I thought really kind of set the tone for the rest of that one, where I don't think it was on that call where Chicago scored on the power play, but I'm going to have to go back and revisit the box score. But again, he's always got it, the jaws going. He's always going to be active physically. And after every whistle, he's going to be looking for his pound of flesh. And Chicago's got to not engage. And, unfortunately, I didn't really think that Potts was. It looks like Josh was in the box too. Is Chicago getting a power play out of this? It looks like that they are.
Yeah, this just came up. It looked like we were going to have 4-on-4, but now Dakota Joshua also at 14:06.
All
2
right.
minutes for roughing. Chicago Wolves power play scored 0-0. 5:54 remaining in the first.
This is a big one here because there hasn't been a lot going on. Can Chicago get their power play going with Potts in the box? I think that's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
So we got Keene, Levo, Drury.
Looks like
Nice
Drury at
block
the
by
point.
Keene.
I would imagine Levo, Nason, and I would imagine they would probably put Panik out there as well, but I'm not a coach.
You would think after all of the Chicago Bulls hockey I've watched this postseason, I would know their numbers a little bit better by now. But
of course. Who was that out front?
All right. We have a goal.
Panik? That was Panik. I told you Panik was going to be out there, but hey, there he is.
Definitely a broken play. The fans in Springfield are not happy, but Chicago with the lead, 1-0 on a power play goal. I mean, he's having himself quite a bit of a finals here.
Chicago got him for nothing, like not even for future considerations from Bridgeport. They got him for nothing, like literally nothing. And Bridgeport was kind of just like, "Hey, here you go. Go have yourself a run." And I mean, he put up some huge goals against Stock. It took him a while. He really didn't do a whole lot. We got 2-on-1 going on here. Max Lajoie with the patience. Oh, he puts it out front, but the play doesn't go. Way to come back. Who was that on the back check? 20. That was 29. Was it Nathan Todd coming back to break that play up? Great play by him because I thought, Lajoie held the puck. He held the puck. Lindgren was down in the butterfly, and if he gets that across to a friendly stick, it's just like that. It's 2-1 game. Oh, James Neal all alone, but Kochekov comes out and makes a huge save.
Way out,
dude. He's aggressive, and that's not just when it comes to fighting the other forwards. Springfield with a bit of pressure here. Nice little touch pass, though. Oh, that wasn't pretty, but no, he kept it in. Good keep. Neal again, tries on the short side, can't beat Kochekov. But the Thunderbirds, they're hounding the puck. Way to respond after giving up that goal, and it's...
But what a play by Tyler Tucker at the line to keep the puck in play.
Yep, and it looks like referee's got his hand in the air. We're going to be getting a penalty against Chicago. Extra attackers on the ice. Man.
Go.
Joshua, grade A chance, and Kochekov comes up with another big save.
That hit the post.
Oh, did it?
That was a post.
It was a mirror to the goal almost.
Shot, and Chicago touches up. Here we go. Springfield power play.
All right. Jesper Sellgren headed to the box at 16:45. 2 minutes, high sticking. But let's take a quick look here at that Richard Panik goal on the power play to put the Wolves up 1-0. So, yeah, just kind of watching this develop. Definitely a little bit of a broken play. Springfield had a guy up front, Panik. He was right there, kept his eyes on it, connected, past Lindgren, 1-0.
Again, just huge goals from Panik all postseason long. And like I said, he kind of had a slow start. Didn't do a whole lot against Rockford or Milwaukee. Didn't really need to, but he came up huge against Stockton. He's already scored some big goals in this series alone. And CJ Smith was that guy with Nason and Podorowski, and ever since the postseason really started to get going here, Panik's found himself on that top line, and he's earned the trust of Coach Warsofsky, which kind of shows that he didn't need to produce to be doing the right things to earn his spot in that lineup. Kochekov, a little dangerous, but it manages to find Wolf sticks and get it out of his own.
Kochekov coming out of the net.
That one kind of got my heart rate going a little bit. I haven't been super unhinged on this stream, but who was that? Was that Panomarev?
It was.
I have loved Vasily Panomarev's game, and he hasn't.
Oh, they're cycling.
Number-wise,
cycling.
Nice sauce.
Looked really good so far.
We got 45 seconds left in this power play, and there's going to be a whistle.
No, that wasn't a clean pass. It was at Todd again. Yeah, he just couldn't control it because it was him. There's a guy on the far post, one and just one defender. So if the guy came up to challenge, he could probably try to thread a pass over to the far side, and that would have been a tough save for Kochekov. Or he shoots and hopes for a rebound or something to squeak through. But he just couldn't really control it. Kind of one hand backhand to the net. Kochekov was able to get the whistle there.
Didn't look like it really settled down for him at all there too.
No.
Which it seems easy when you're sitting in the stands or like we are watching here, but it's so hard. When you're really down there to try to really want to get the puck settled, and it kind of psychs you out a little bit, and you can make a bad decision by waiting too long. And, that just didn't hang around for him there, too. And he was in prime real estate there for that shot, for sure.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Puck's loose, but the Wolves get it out. I'm telling you, the penalty killing on this team, if they keep up what they've been doing recently, and that's another kill, that could be the big difference there. Oh boy! Oh, I thought that was going.
Oh my!
Oh, Kochekov.
Can't believe that.
I know you said it last time we did one of these, Andrews, but if you're a goaltender,
10 the goal, yes. Kochekov unfortunately doesn't speak a lot of English. I don't know if he's going to be able.
They need to do the Goldberg move from the Mighty Ducks and just duct tape him to the post. Get a cardiologist on standby. I don't know if I can handle it.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Wolves love having him back there kind of almost as a third defender. I mean, you don't want that, right? You don't want him to kind of bobble the puck and the forecheckers are on him. We saw it in Stockton. They were able to get an easy freebie goal out of Kochetkov because of it. But they, at the same time, it helps so much with getting the puck out of the zone and getting it out of the danger areas when you have a guy who not only can play the puck, but plays it with confidence. And, sometimes you're a little overconfident in a situation like that. I get it. And, you haven't seen a team like this in Springfield all season. It's one thing when you play Rockford 35 times and what forwards are going to be in there after you and which ones aren't. But you gotta be a bit of a gambling man to kind of come out of your net and play that puck. And Kochetkov certainly is in a rush coming on the other way here. Oh, the puck just it just slid off his stick. That really
Keen with a key block, just as the horn sounds. Tucker
wow,
again.
right at the buzzer. That's boy.
All right, we have reached the end of the first period. Chicago's up 1-0, both even in shots at 11. So, guys, first period thoughts, impressions. I think we got something brewing here.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly looking like it. First mistake is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, that was pretty much as even of a game as you could ask for through one period, at least to me. And you see the first goal, a little bit of a broken play. Special teams are going to be a factor here for sure. But overall, I think that's probably one of the most even periods of hockey you could ask for. And I think it's probably going to maybe open up from here at least a little bit. Springfield's come close on a couple of their chances. I mean, you generate 11 shots, you're doing some things right. They had some good possession time. Even their power play didn't look too bad. So I'd like to see them kind of, work that Springfield magic they've been having, so far this playoff that we saw in game one, where they battled back from these kinds of situations before. They can certainly do it here. I think that, it's only up from here across the board for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago's up 1-0, and I mean the difference is special teams. They were able to strike on the power play, and Springfield, despite their chances, they just didn't. I think Chicago's penalty kill, they boxed out well enough to get Kochetkov enough clean looks where he could at least see the shots. I don't think you change a whole lot if you're the Thunderbirds here. I think there's a lot to build on at the end of that first period with the pressure that they had, both with the man advantage and on 5-on-5. That first shift after the Panik goal, the Thunderbirds looked really, really good. It reminded me a lot of game one after Nason's goal. They responded like that. And you kind of had that feeling. The puck didn't go in. And it is what it is. A post kind of got in their way on a Joshua shot that might have been the equalizer. But again, when you're so paper thin, it's going to be those little details. I think, maybe you got to cheat a little bit on a face-off. You got to make it maybe step up on the blue line when you normally would come back. But I don't think you change a whole lot. I mean, you just got to stick to your game, stick to what's been working for you at this point. It's not like last game where you're down 4-0 after one. It's a 1-0 game. It's one shot. And, yeah, when you look at as even as these two teams do, you don't really have to manufacture a whole miracle over a 1-0 game.
And like you kind of alluded to there earlier, I mean, this is a difference of, two breaks. They're kind of similar in how they developed, at least a little bit, between the goal for Richard Panik and the post hit for Dakota Joshua. I think that was on the delayed call leading up to the power play. You're on one wrong side of the post here from being a 1-1 game. I think, like you said, it's very much a case of you keep it simple, keep doing what you've been doing. Springfield's forecheck has been causing some problems. A lot of those chances were generated on a couple good step ups of the blue line to keep in errant passes, things like that. Don't change too much. I think there's, like you said, it's not too much that's broken. Unlike last game, it's a 1-0 game rather than a 4-0 or worse scores. So there's not too much need to panic at this point here early on.
Well, there's one thing to panic about, and that's the goal.
You stole my transition, Andrew.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Great minds think alike. So speaking of Panik, I believe he's on the team because of a loan, right?
Yeah.
From the Isles. All right. Well, using the hashtag THG Live, if you want to get in on the conversation, I mean, it's intermission. Get your questions in, get your thoughts in. Let us know, what's your favorite crumble cookie. So my dear husband, Gary Weinheimer at GPWCBJ, wants to know, the Holy Grail, what's worse? Giving up a player for future considerations or for literally nothing? Hashtag THG Live. What do you guys think?
It's got to be literally nothing, right? Because while future considerations might be figuratively nothing, literally nothing is literally nothing. Like they give Panik to the Wolves, and I get kind of the Isles. They want their veteran guy to kind of go on a run. I mean, he's been around the league. He's been in Chicago. He's familiar with the area. Maybe he really enjoys it there. And we want to say, hey, go knock yourself out. I don't know if Carolina and the Islanders have a wink, wink, nudge, nudge agreement to that or anything. But again, there was no considerations. There was no one going back the other way. Like, at least to acquire Tarmu Reunanen, the Wolves had to give up fan favorite and Maxim Latunov, but for Panik, they got nothing. Reunanen then is been a healthy scratch these entire playoffs. He's been insurance in case someone on the defensive end got injured, whereas they just got Panik, and they're like, thank you, come again.
No, conversely, I think it's interesting because Bridgeport, they loaned him out, but Bridgeport did make a run here. They upset in the play-in round. They were responsible for upsetting the Providence Bruins, who, narrowly missed out on earning one of the byes in the Atlantic Division, thanks in part to, a hot streak from, I believe it was Charlotte that really kind of upset them out of that, I believe. So, it's one of those things where you kind of wonder to yourself, was there an internal thing where, they said, hey, like he wants to go play somewhere really good and, win and type of thing. Was it better for Bridgeport at the time? I mean, it's a hard question to answer. Of course, it's speculation. But, was there more to it than meets the eye, I think is kind of my thought in this case. Just because of, where Bridgeport, obviously they slid in as a, 6th seed out of 8, the very last team to qualify in the Atlantic Division, but it did, their success down the stretch parlayed itself into respectable run for a team that was in their shoes for as long as they were, where they were kind of at the bottom, kind of hovering around, and came around and ultimately caused enough problems to upset a very respectable, in my opinion, Providence team for sure.
Yeah, if Hartford doesn't win 3 games in 2 months or whatever god awful stretch that they had on the end there, we're speaking a bit of a different story about the Islanders. But they, credit to them, they found a way to get in, and they had themselves a very respectable playoff run. So I'm not going to take anything away from there. But yeah, I think at the deadline they kind of realized where they were in the standings, and they looked to a guy like Panik, who probably wasn't having the best time in Bridgeport on a team that wasn't looking to compete. And for a guy like that who's been around for so long, they basically had them like, pick where you want to go and we'll make it happen. And they did for, again, nothing. So, I honestly, I think that's kind of a very classy move by the Islanders there to hook a guy up who has done so many things at this level, at the NHL, to just, help a guy out, make him happy. And the Wolves were certainly not going to be one that we're going to say no. I mean, he's been that perfect plug in there in the first line next to a almost 50 goal scorer, 100-point scorer. I mean, just when you think like what really can the Wolves add, they get a guy like him. And he's been just absolutely spectacular in the postseason for him.
How many times have we seen, a team like Chicago get that piece at the deadline, and conversely, Springfield's done about the same thing where they, got a couple pieces at the deadline, Will Bitten being one of them, where, contending teams, and it's, especially at the NHL level, it's a, very nice sign of, respecting the potential run that their AHL affiliate has to, kind of help them out, try to see if they can bolster them once more before the, the games get underway type of thing to, help their teams really push in and make a big run at things here too. So it is a very nice thing. These two teams were teams impacted by moves at the deadline, and both those players have factored in huge in these playoff runs. So I mean, it's something that every team thinks about at the deadline. That's for sure.
Well, we are currently in intermission, the first intermission. So just in case you're just joining us, welcome to the Holy GrAHL Live. You have 3 out of, 5 of your hosts. So I'm Dina Weinheimer, the managing editor at Field Pass Hockey, and I guess your AHL reporter at large. Also joining me, are Andrew and Corey. I will let them introduce themselves if you're just joining.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Rinaldi. I cover beat for the Western Conference champion Chicago Wolves here at Field Pass Hockey. And, when they're more in season, the Grand Rapids Griffins as well. And yeah, this is our second attempt at a live stream episode here as we get into game 3. And yeah, I'm going to let it carry on to Corey for him to take it away.
And hi, I'm Corey Swartz. I'm the usual beat guy for the Hershey Bears, and I've been covering the Springfield Thunderbirds here during the playoffs here, just kind of covering the subsequent rounds since the play-in round here, and really taking on the Atlantic Division here. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun this year to see Springfield really roll into a playoff. I do wish it were my Bears, that's for sure, but doing a lot of prep work here to see how they're going to come out next season. And, hopefully we'll be talking about the chocolate and white next year, maybe, if I'm lucky.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you for sure. But
yeah, if the Bears do make it in the finals, I am definitely making a stop, and I am just getting myself involved in exorbitant amounts of chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a lot this time of year for Hershey, which always makes the Calder Cup runs. I always say I was very spoiled when I was growing up here for sure during the, from about 2006 to 2010, the Bears made the finals 4 times out of 5 years and won the cup 3 of those 5 years. So we were spoiled for a while there to have really quality hockey. And, you got the Hershey Park open, literally a short walk away from the Giant Center here, really in full swing for things here in Hershey, which is always a lot of fun. So, really miss those days, honestly. And, just it's been a while. They lasted in 2016. It feels like it's been forever, and I really miss it a lot. So I've, been kind of harping on some things here that I want to see happen in order to get them back to that spot here. But so hopefully we'll see something come around for sure.
2016. I remember that Calder Cup run fondly as a fan, but then the last few years turning into a Cleveland Monsters beat reporter. But this year we're talking about the Wolves and the Thunderbirds. So we're getting ready here in the next few minutes to drop the puck on the second period. But the Wolves are up over the Springfield Thunderbirds in Springfield, 1-0. They're both even in shots at 11 apiece. Chicago scoring on the power play. A shot from Richard Panik from down low on Charlie Lindgren again on the power play, with the assist going to Josh Levo and Jack Drury. We had 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes of penalties in the first period. 3 of them at 3 penalties handed out of 14:06 to Andrew Podorowski from Chicago, Tommy Cross and Dakota Joshua from Springfield, and then Jesper Sellgren getting another penalty, or getting a penalty for high sticking at 16:45. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about the first period.
So what do we think's gonna, if we're gonna look at the first 5 minutes of the second, what do you think both teams are gonna try and do here?
Well, the big thing for Springfield I like to see them do is to stop taking these scrum penalties. I mean, I know the kind of highlight that I saw, you, Andrew, tweeting about a little bit here the other day was Chicago's coach getting fined for some of his post-game comments about officiating. But, for Springfield, they really shot themselves in the foot a number of times in Game 2 by taking just these really dumb, unnecessary penalties after whistles. And, a little bit of what led to that Pontic goal was really a continuation of that, where, Dakota Joshua goes and starts something at the bench and, face washes some guy, leads to a scrum, and 2 Springfield guys get thrown in the box, and 1 for Chicago puts them on a power play, and they score. And, it's just one of those things where, if you take a trip where you're stopping a guy in a breakaway or an odd man rush or something, that's one thing. But, these avoidable penalties, it's both uncharacteristic for Springfield to me, having watched them for, these last 3 rounds here for sure. It's something they haven't, really engaged in a ton. And, they all, if they hadn't been getting called to this degree on it here. And it's one of those things that you just got to eliminate the unnecessary calls and really just bear down and play your style. We saw them play their style a few times there. They were able to, get on the power play and really work the puck around and generate some chances, hit a post. You just got to eliminate those unnecessary penalties. And I think you're in good shape if you're Springfield here. I mean, you'd be looking at probably a sincere advantage in power plays if you could just eliminate these kind of extra nonsensical calls, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Springfield definitely looked at Stockton, because Stockton didn't really start to kind of get into that extracurricular after the whistle until they were down 3-0 in the series. And then they're like, well, I guess if we can't outskate them, we'll kind of try and get them off their game in a different way. And they were actually kind of effective in it, and they drew a lot of retaliatory calls from the Wolves. And I think kind of the Thunderbirds tried to take that physicality of theirs that they lean on so much to their advantage. But I think that the message in the locker room right now, I mean, they've given up already in 7 periods of play, 7 and a little extra in overtime. They've given up 5 power play goals already. We're not even we're a third of the way done in Game 3. They can't keep putting themselves in that kind of situation with a potent Chicago power play. They didn't even have Podorowski, their captain, their leader, their leading point scorer out there in that last power play, and they still managed to get it done. Yeah, it was a bit of a broken play, but when you got so many weapons that surround that unit there like they do, you can't give them an inch or Chicago's going to take a mile. I said that a lot about how Springfield needs to take advantage in this series. Well, Chicago's more than capable of doing it on their own end. So we got both teams coming out here for the second period. Big one.
You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for a little more out of you, Andrew. You're a little more subdued than I had originally anticipated.
Right. Well, I mean, we're still early on. I think
I know.
the last episode that we did this, I didn't come on until a couple minutes had gone into the second. So
you just need a time.
You gotta lean into it. It's only Game 3 versus Game 6. There was a lot of implications there, and yeah, I mean. And again, kind of how these teams have kind of, again, I don't want to say a boring style, but when there's not a whole lot going on, it's, the unhinged levels have stayed kind of low because there hasn't been a lot to be unhinged about. If you're going to give me a reason to be unhinged like the Wolves did in Game 6, we all saw what happened there. So the big lights are on. I think both teams are about to get ready to go here.
So we've got a nice lengthy discussion between who is that? Stefan Nason and
Tommy Cross by the look of it.
It looks like Tommy Cross, yeah.
Yeah, with one of the officials down low near the referee's half circle. And Nason and Cross kind of sharing a few words as they skate back to their respective benches here right before this initial
They just
drop
mentioned
here.
over here on the Springfield broadcast that the Thunderbirds were not happy with that extra call on the scrum that was, that landed them shorthanded with the Dakota Joshua call there, I believe. So it may have been pertaining to that, but you never truly know. We're not on the ice to be able to
Right.
know that for sure, of course. But I think that's kind of interesting.
Puck is down and the second period's underway. So how much extra would you pay for an AHL TV package if they allowed like a referee or player to be mic'd up?
I have been trying to get people on my side for that for years. You do not understand how much money I would pay if you could. It's kind of like in NASCAR, you can get like a driver's feed and just listen to it. I want that in hockey.
Right? I would love that. And obviously I think it's got to be, an age restricted thing because not everything that these guys say over here is going to be PG. Shocker, spoiler alert, but we have an answer here on social media for in terms of their favorite crumble cookie. I don't know if anyone wants to ping that one in. I guess I'll read this one out.
I can ping it on in. Yes, more crumble cookie talk. I love it. I need to go try crumble cookies. There's one a few miles from my house. I need to go there tomorrow.
100%.
Okay. So
I feel so in the dark here. I have no idea about what even a crumble cookie is.
It's a cookie that crumbles.
Yeah, I figured that much, but I had never heard of it before until I heard you guys talking about it.
Oh, bitten just wide.
Oh, nice setup by Pekka there. He's done that a couple times already where he's on the rush and he'll turn his body so that he's skating backwards into the defender. And I mean, that's perfect puck protection right there. I mean, look at this. How is who's that? Jacobs defending? How's he supposed to make a play on that?
What a move to set that up, though.
Yep. Springfield are master of the not blind, but knowing where each other, where their teammates are on the ice to be able to make those kind of look off passes and put it right on the tape there. I go back to the 7th game of the Laval series where they looked like it looked like the Globetrotters in a sense.
I love this Springfield line of McEachern, Bitten, and Joshua. I mean, that's just a motor line if I've ever seen it.
Motor is a perfect way to describe what Matthew Peck is doing right now. He's setting up amazing plays. He's getting in. He's making hits, shots, the whole 9 yards. You cannot ask more out of him except maybe a goal right now.
Will Bitten does a lot on that line too, and with terms of his puck protection, he's fantastic. Working along the boards and getting his teammates space and time. By drawing players to him, and finding seams on the ice for sure.
Well, let's go ahead and finish sharing this thought on crumble cookies here before we forget about it from Katie at Kara. Last week, I was given my first crumble cookie, lemon poppy seed. That sounds good to me. She says, yummy. Now I need to try more flavors with a little pig emoji.
Yeah, we all do, don't we?
I need to look up the hours for the one near my house in the little shopping center. Oh, go check off. Another big save there. Yeah, I need to check this place out because I know there's one there. I've been to this nice smoothie shop beside it, but never into the cookie shop.
We all need to treat ourselves every now and then, Dina.
I know we do. Can I send the Chicago Wolves player my bill? Because that discussion from you and Jack Drury in our last full episode of the Holy GrAHL started all this off about the crumble cookies.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could dial that back into Podorowski and Josh Jacobs are really the true OGs when it comes to the crumble cookies. So they've managed to get the whole social media team involved in it and everything. And it's been great content. they have a whole Crumble gang with the team, and all right, I think we've seen a marked difference in the Thunderbirds here because you see these guys going to the net. I think that has to be a message that Drew Bannister kind of harped on them in that intermission. All these shots, look at that. You got, who is that right in front? That is Chris Costin. You got McGing there attacking hard, crashing into the boards. There too. Yep.
Versus Anas has not scored a goal since the Laval series. I mean, the Charlotte series. He's very much due for one, for being one of their big guns type of thing.
Yeah,
too.
he was a guy who I remember his draft year at the end of the first round. Everyone was looking at this guy like a big.
Oh, we got a penalty on Chicago. We got David Gus.
This has not been a good start for the Wolves.
David Gus going to the box for a delay of game. 2:26, I believe, if I'm doing my math right. I'm not strong at this part. Oh, hey, there we go. 2:26. Springfield getting that opportunity. They lead in shots 3-0 on this period.
I'm shocked that wasn't deflected or anything like that. Like, it was a very slim margins delay of game call, like, low percentage, I should say, really.
So it looks like we got Pekka, Neal, Rosen, and Todd out there for Springfield on the power play. I didn't see everybody for Chicago.
We got Lajoie. It looks like Spencer Smallman. I don't know who's wheeling there. Is that Drury? No, he's a lefty. Oh, that is Drury. Drury is lefty. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we got Lajoie. I would imagine that's Chatfield over on the other side. See, this is Coach Echo's game. He is aggressive when it comes to playing that puck. But yeah, it looks like Chatfield, Lajoie, Smallman, and Drury on that penalty kill.
It was a highly unusual entry on the power play there for Springfield. They almost tried to do a similar to play to how the Flyers always would do it with Claude Giroux, where they'd throw one in on net and get a, from their own side of the blue line and get him to pop in on the rebound and put it in.
Get a bounce off the goalie. Yeah. It's sneaky if you catch one off, a goalie off guard, but I don't know. Corner and then Pacheco, he seems kind of dialed in early on here.
Neal with an own block.
Oof.
Right in the shin.
And then another shot. Those missed shots on the power play. I mean, I know sometimes you're going for that top corner, but sometimes you just gotta just fire it low, hope for, a bounce off the pad or something, because you miss high, it rims around the boards, and it's an exit for the defense. You're helping out the other guys, another big clear. This Chicago penalty killing unit, I'm telling you, it's for as many penalties as this team takes, they need a PK unit that's as strong as these guys have given.
Springfield's starting to look a little frustrated here just with all that pressure from
puck in the corner, midfield, and it's out. No, they're going the other way. That's Levo, and they are suffocating. I think that's got to be the first shot of the period there from Levo, just as the penalty ends. So Chicago's going to be getting an offensive face-off. Here's a chance to do something. Big kill, get the boys going, get the momentum rolling. Here we go. It's time to see where we're going here.
All right, we got 15:31 remaining in the second. Chicago still up over Springfield 1-0. Springfield has the edge in shots, though, 14-12. They've got 3 this period. Chicago has 1. We're going to have to re-drop the puck again. So we got Podorowski against Joshua, and Podorowski takes that one. Easy.
Oh man, I mean he's just a wizard. It's incredible. Oh man, good tight play there at the far post, but it doesn't seem like Nason was able to stick it in there. Springfield ices the puck. Oh no, that wasn't an icing.
Nope.
I thought that went straight away, but I guess they thought it was deflected. Oh man, a little patience. You had Nason running all alone on the far side of the net there. I know there was some defensive pressure, but Luke Witkowski might have saved that game from going 2-0 if he didn't step up at that point. I mean, Nason was unmarked all by himself on that far post. That could have been bad. That's not what Springfield wants to see.
How's everyone feeling? Doing all right out there?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Good.
We're at almost 5 minutes into the period, 25 minutes in the game, and I'm not like super unhinged. It's great. Like,
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of me too.
This is
and
nice.
I know that the fans have enjoyed Unhinged Drew in the past, and like the whole one episode that he came out in, but
that was trouble right there.
Oh boy, yeah, that was a good stick. Or else again, you have Panique on the
other
side.
Oh, 10 Beller.
What a save. All right, I have got to get that one.
Yeah,
right-handed robbery.
He just gets up and it's business as usual for him. I'm telling you, this is what gets Springfield going. They have that confidence and having a big save from your goalie like that there. That's a huge situation. I mean, Chicago goes up 2-0. You're here in the second. That frustration started to boil over a little bit more, but I mean, Keane with the fake shot, and what a one-time blast to come over and get the stop. That's huge.
He made that look easy too. That's what's so impressive to me about Charlie Lindgren's right hand with the glove saves there. He did that in Game 7 against Laval to really continue squelching their hopes of even making that a game at any point. He came across, I believe it was on Danique Martel in that game, to make a big right-hand glove save. And he, that was a tough shot too, and he made it look very easy. So, he's very calm and cool and collected. And, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if Lindgren's a guy that, may be in the conversation to be getting time in Springfield St. Louis next season.
Yeah. Do you think it messes with the shooter's psyche when they run up to a right-handed goalie, or do you think they really don't care?
I'd imagine it's not too much of a difference. I mean, I think as a forward, you think about it a little bit like, if I want to go glove side, suddenly, right-handed shot on the right side, you're suddenly looking far post instead of near post. But I really don't think you can think about it too much as a shooter. Oh, there's a goal.
Vasily Ponomarev, nice save. Or nice pass is what I meant to say. That's Ivan Ladnia again. What a feed from Ponomarev to make that happen.
And the boos rain down in Springfield.
No, that's going to happen.
But what a goal from Ivan Ladnia.
He just scores big goals, man. He is just a big goal-scoring machine. I love Ivan Ladnia. I said it the last live stream. I'll say it again here. I love Ivan Ladnia.
But he had quite the setup from Ponomarev there.
That's a great pass. I said great save for some reason as he passed the puck. You're gonna have.
We just got done talking about a great save, which we will watch here in a few minutes. But first, let's just go ahead and take a look. Oh, we got a little bit of a dust up here. Let's see what happens.
Is there going to be another penalty?
Luke Witkowski being a little liberal with the stick there.
Of course it's Luke Witkowski. Why not?
Trying to get in on Chatfield there.
Kind of interesting since that power play. Chicago's flipped the script in terms of shots. It was 3-0 Springfield at one point to start the frame leading up to that power play, and they got a lot of momentum. I think it really switched from being 14-11 at one point. Now it's 17-14 in favor of Chicago. So, I mean, that was, very big turning point. They've had their foot on the gas pedal ever since then, really.
All right. What clip do you guys want to watch first? Do you want to watch the huge Charlie Lindgren save, or do we want to see Ivan Ladnia's goal?
Let's start with the save from Lindgren. It was earlier. So.
All right. So, yeah. Huge cross-side pass, one-timer. Lindgren getting all the way across and just steals that puck.
Highway robbery.
Yeah,
He read it very well too. I mean, see him go down, neat shuffle over. He had his right hand up and ready. Very sound save, I think, given the positioning. He didn't cheat on it at all, but he was ready for it for sure.
Yeah, then he just scoots right back to the net, gets his water, and just says, just another day in the office.
Another day in the office, yep.
Keep stretching.
Yep. All right, and then we have another one of our hosts here, Jeremy Paul. Welcome on in.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
Oh, baby. How's it going?
Hey, it's going well. I was, a little sad to be missing out on being threatened by Andrew, so I had to hop on it.
This has been an actually very zen podcast, or I guess live stream so far.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm.
They haven't I haven't gone on full on red face. I mean, more for the excitement of Ladnia just scoring that 2-0 goal right there, but nothing that's really kind of made me throw my arms up and have to mute myself from the live stream or anything. But there's still a lot of hockey left to be played, so don't count your chickens.
Speaking of, there's 13:08 remaining here. Chicago up 2-0. Andrew, do you want to kind of talk us through this latest tally by Ivan Ladnia here?
Sure. I was just saying, Ponomarev with some great possession behind the net. He comes along the boards, and I mean, what a thread of the needle between a couple defenders, and Ladnia is there in his sweet spot. I mean, that was exactly the spot where he buried that Spencer Smallman feed to break the ice in Game 6 against Stockton, and he's right there again. And great pass, Ladnia, beautiful finish to push the lead to 2-0. That's a huge goal. I mean, with the way this team's been playing, that a whole lot of grade A chances after the first couple of minutes here for Springfield. If Chicago really kind of starts to get their legs here and looks like they're on the attack again, oh man.
Lejoie with a nice drag, but loses it.
But great defensive play. I believe that was that Nathan Todd
Joey
again?
Keane taking a penalty.
That was a penalty?
That was a penalty.
That was a penalty?
That was a penalty.
They would have played that while Springfield had possession.
I'm not going to say anything Krasovsky related about that, but
oh no,
I didn't see who drew that, but
good on him.
It was in and out of my mind before I made a note of it and I lost it.
Matthew Pekka drawing the penalty from Joey Keane.
Pekka's been the best forward for Springfield by a mile this game.
So if you have some thoughts about that call there, or like we said earlier about crumble cookies, or if you made the trip from Chicago to Springfield and have some recommendations on places to eat after the game or something, feel free to give us a shout out on Twitter with the hashtag THGLive. Or on Facebook, you can use the exact same hashtag. Or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and type in the chat, and we will share your comments here live.
Do you all sometimes forget that James Neal plays for Springfield? It hits me every time I see the 81. I'm just like, that's right.
Oh, I can't forget after what he did to Hershey when he got here.
That's true.
Earlier this season when he scored that one hat trick on him. It's ingrained in my mind after that one.
That is a fair point.
I will say for Springfield on this power play so far, it was good on them to win the face-off. It was something they really noticeably struggled with in Game 2, was winning face-offs, and it burnt them a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And, it's one of those things where, just like I just did it again, you get possession, you get a chance to establish yourself here. Hopefully a little bit better than their earlier chance.
Does Pekka normally play the point there on the power play, or is it kind of shifted down? Man. Big save for Kocheko. Springfield loves that little bumper play to the guy right between the hash marks.
Real deal James Neal? Nope.
Up.
No, not this time.
Joshua down on the play, though. Trying to keep that alive.
Yep.
This is a pretty textbook power play at this point for Springfield. This has been a really nope. Dang. Let me tell you, the goaltending is coming through clutch right now.
Kochekov and having
another huge save on Pekka there.
Oh, big save.
On the
Bounced on
blade.
Pekka a little bit.
Great power play by Springfield here, though. I think they kind of struggled on their last one out in the beginning of the period. This one has been getting the puck to the net.
This power play looks much, much better.
Yep.
So there's a goal just seconds into the Tampa Bay Colorado game, but I'm not sure it's going to stand up. Looks like wow, it's going to stand. I'm surprised. Looked like they got the goalie with the stick there or something.
It's quite the night of hockey. We really are kind of spoiled tonight.
It's quite a hockey night.
Well, I am now a very happy person because you mentioned that. I'm like, oh, it is past 8 o'clock. That means the Bolts are playing. The Bolts are up 1-0. Anthony Cirelli at 36 seconds from Alex Killorn and Eric Chernak. I'm a very happy person right now.
Really surprised there wasn't a challenge on. I mean, the goalie had lost his mask well before the puck had come out to the guy to put it in. I can't lie to you, Dina, I'm very much want Colorado to win this one, honestly.
I understand. It's okay.
Yeah, I
still like you guys.
I had a lot of choice words to say on my other podcast about about that series. So, yeah, I mean, it's God. You can't. How can you bet against Tampa even after the first 2 games? How can you bet against that team? You literally can't.
The 7-0 game too. Everyone's like, "Oh, Tampa's done. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. The team that just won, a nice chance from Podorowski there. I think he missed the net
going back on an odd man rush though, but pretty good defense.
3-on-2. Oh,
hitting the trailer is never a good idea in that situation. Because he had the least amount of momentum on that, and every other man was covered.
I don't think he was expecting the puck there. He's like, all right, you got a couple options.
Like, 3-on-1.
3-on-1 here.
Thing. Oh boy, here it comes.
Oh, good back check on the side of the net there. I'm bitten. He had it all net.
Oh boy, big save, Kochekov, and they took the puck in the corner, and that's
good back check there.
Pretty big play there by Kochekov. Keeps the puck and the player out of the net. So good on him for that
one. One of the Thunderbirds taking the phrase "be the puck" a little too seriously.
A little too serious.
But how do you get a 3-on-1? I didn't see who carried the puck down, but not pass it, and the goalie staring you the whole way down, and you just shoot it? You slow up and you shoot it?
I mean, hey, sometimes the shot's better than forcing the pass. And again, the back checker from Chicago kind of boxed his man out really well. And
I was supposed to say,
it's a shot on that. You keep it low. You go for a rebound. It's never a bad call. I don't think in my mind.
And the rebound trickled out too. It's just Kochekov was there and Chicago was there to clean it up, and so that was,
not
right
a bad
idea, wrong execution. I don't know.
Fair.
That was the thing, though. More for the body on the stick there of Will Bitten. I mean, that's kind of what you want there. I think when you have a right-handed shooter on the left side like that, he trails there with his stick behind him, really just keeping an eye out for those rebounds. And truly, it was the difference of a stick blade's length, really, with the length of a stick of a defenseman being in between that. So I think it was well played. They let Kochekov take the shot and, nullify the guy in the back door there. I mean, it's kind of, the best defensive play you could have possibly hoped for Chicago, I think, there, too.
All right, there is 8:05 remaining here in the second period. The Chicago Wolves are up over the Springfield Thunderbirds in Game 3 of the 2022 Calder Cup Finals. Springfield has the edge on shots 21-18, but again, Chicago is winning where it counts on the scoreboard 2-0. And wow, Pyotr Kochekov standing up big, keeping this game. I'm not going to say the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
No. You got 28 minutes of game left. You can't possibly start thinking that now.
I said so far. I'm sorry.
I'll say it for
You are going to
T-Birds
have to
Nation.
answer to
Shutout.
Andrew.
Stop. I threatened Jeremy before. I can do it again.
But Corey's a
know.
little bit
I-
safer.
I
I'm
have
the
to
Springfield
say,
guy, man.
I'm feeling pretty slighted here because I feel like that juju was a little bit worse than the juju I was putting out last go around. So I'm thinking you need to run them the smoke pretty soon.
I'm trying to dial it back a little bit. I have no like super. If Springfield comes on a little harder here, maybe the unhinged will come out a bit, but I haven't had a whole lot of. I mean, the Thunderbirds have had some big chances, and Kochekov's come up with some big saves, but
The fans in Springfield are getting a little feisty.
yeah, I mean
They are not happy with that icing call. You had one official say no, one official say yes. It gets blown. I don't know, guys.
Looks like they're putting it back at center ice. Looks like they're
yeah,
waving it
like
off.
that was like our bad moment. I'm
Just
sorry.
mentioned on the broadcast here, it's a capacity crowd in Springfield. You love to see that too.
Absolutely. This is it's the Calder Cup Finals, man. You gotta show up to the squad.
Heck up again. Will Bitten almost with a surefire girl.
man.
But
He has.
And he's got to sit down. He's got to sit down.
I am just
Couldn't ask
slight
for anything
seconds
better, really.
behind you, I think, Dina. But it's okay.
Lindgren! Oh! He got back in.
Oh man. Big chance from Chatfield. Oh, okay. I'm more than a couple seconds behind you, Dig Dina. But
And you see those passes, though. That's how fast they can make. You make a mistake in your own zone against Chicago. That's how fast they can turn it into something nuts like that.
they transition better than any team in the league, I believe. I mean, it's a big part of their game. Lajoie walks right out front, and Lindgren with another huge save.
Joshua now finally breaking up that zone time, getting the puck out.
He's so tired he can't even get the puck in deep for a change, and Chicago comes right back in on the attack.
Full disclosure, my husband just texted me the hours for crumble cookies tomorrow. Apparently they're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
What are the flavors?
Their flavors change weekly, so you're going to have to go back no matter what.
I need the cornbread cookie. Have we talked about that as a group? That's the one that I need
Wait,
to try.
there's a what?
There's a cornbread cookie?
And I hear it's like the best cookie.
Well, there's something for our Southern Canes fans to look forward to there. There's a cornbread cookie at Crumble Cookies, so keep an eye out for it.
I am pro everything cornbread.
Here in the North, I don't think in Michigan they're gonna heavily go for the cornbread cookie. It's just not. It's not
but we'll get cherry everything, so it'll be great.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You want like Michigan cherry or Mackinac Island fudge? Yeah, we got you.
That's an idea. That is an idea. We're gonna get a pasty flavored cookie at this rate.
Kochekov again. Just stonewalling the Springfield Thunderbirds.
Oh man, right out in front with Alexandrov, another glorious chance. But I do think that this Thunderbirds forecheck has done way better than they have in the first period to create chances, and they've got the bodies out front of the net this time. But it's got to be frustrating because you're down 2-0, and you keep getting these chances. And how do you just not grip the stick a little tighter? You really can't let your frustrations get the better of you, because again, you don't want to put this Chicago team on the power play where they've been so deadly this whole series already.
I think you're taking what you're getting here and saying, all right, let's keep building on it. Let's keep doing what we're doing here. It's bound to go in eventually. I mean,
something's got to give, right?
They're winning a lot of battles on forechecks. I'd be more concerned if they were, not generating as much number one-off shot chances that, get turned aside to the corner or go high over the net or something. Then I think you'd see the frustration break out a little bit. I think as this wears on here, you could see that towards the, closer maybe the end of the game. But at this point, it's 2-0. It's 2 shots. You get one to go in, and then I like their group there, especially when they get towards their best time in the third period when they really start to pour on the pressure here. I think it's it's far from over here for sure.
Oh, absolutely. The way that Springfield's been able to respond all playoffs, you can't. I'm not calling this until the final buzzer goes. I don't care if it's 3-0 with 20 seconds left. I'm like, well, you never know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, hockey's a weird game, and sometimes, like they always say, the hockey gods could reward the Thunderbirds for all this work, or it could go completely against them. You never know. And again, there's the goal right there.
There's
Another
Chatfield. Wow.
Wow.
What a shot. And with speed, Jalen Chatfield has been one of the best players for the Wolves this postseason. What a shot. With speed coming through the neutral zone. I think he just kind of caught Lindgren on that one. Was he really expecting that?
That was like an arching shot. The puck just kind of goes up. I don't know if it hit somebody, but it just rainbowed it in.
Man, that hurts too. You've got 3 defenders crashing in on Chatfield.
It didn't look like it was deflected. That looked like it just went straight in.
That's tough. If you're Springfield, you're kicking yourself.
That's a heartbreaker.
That's a deflator. Yep, 100%.
Because you've been playing pretty well, to this point. If you're Springfield in the second period specifically, I mean, it's kind of been. I don't want to say it's been all Springfield, but they've definitely outchanced the Wolves so far since I've hopped on. At least I should say, and so maybe I'm the problem.
Chicago had a after their early PK, they had a flurry of really good chances and hemmed Springfield in, and I think they really responded well after Latnia's goal, and especially on the forecheck, they've gone in and got after pucks. But man, that's a tough one for I don't want to put it all on Lindgren. I mean, Chatfield's coming in with speed. The defender's gap control isn't really there, and it's a great shot. I mean, great release. You've seen now why the Carolina organization loves Jalen Chatfield and why I think he's probably going to be the one guy of this Wolves team to make himself a fixation on the roster for the Canes next year. I mean, but one of their best players, probably was their best player in the Stockton series, and here he is again making a huge difference.
All right, let's take a quick look at that goal by Jalen Chatfield. Gets the puck in the neutral zone, skates it on in, has 3 guys on him, still manages to get the goal past Lindgren. Nice little celly with the boys and go up 3-0.
It's great spacing there, honestly. If you like we were saying earlier, 1 against 3, he maneuvered to the spot where he had the most space while being closest to the net, and it was a really I think a good high hard shot, top shelf on the glove side, across his body too, which is those kinds of shots are I think a little bit harder for goalies at times too. I mean, I'm sure it's certainly one that Lindgren as well as the defense would probably like to have back for sure, but I think he did as good of a job as he could in those circumstances for sure.
And as he pointed out in the celebration, a great pass from Josh Levo. The vision to find him streaking through the neutral zone, and then to get him that puck there so he can attack and get a shot on net. I mean, that without Levo making that play, that goal doesn't happen.
All right, we got 4:30 remaining in the second. Just drop the puck. Springfield with the face-off win. And surprise, surprise, another board battle.
Yeah, there have been plenty of them. Both of these teams so hard to get off of the puck.
Oh yeah, and I've been pointing out to it in the pod all year long. I mean, the physicality and the size of the Thunderbirds. You get a guy like Dakota Joshua. It's so hard to get when he sticks that big rear end of his out there, and take that as a compliment, Dakota. It's how do you get the puck away from him? It's really difficult, and as soon as you kind of try and shimmy along one way or the other, you open up the space and he makes the play. And they've done that so well, and they can't get away from that game. I know you're down 3-0, but I don't think that the Thunderbirds are playing bad. I just think that Chicago, when they've gotten their chances, they've converted, and the Thunderbirds are just getting out goalied at this point, really, I think, when it boils down to.
I agree with that. I mean, I think that you've gotten basically everything you've wanted in terms of chances in this period. But, so often, how many times have we seen this in the playoffs so far? One team gets a break, the other team doesn't, and, puck goes in, builds your confidence. So you're in a situation like a 1-on-3, and, you're feeling better about shooting the puck because we've seen a couple of these plays really work out for them and go in. Whereas for Springfield, I think you're starting to grip your stick a little bit tight and, maybe second guess yourself a little bit. Maybe not so much in the moment, but, you're feeling it a little bit harder. You're feeling the pressure. You're feeling a little gypped at this point. And it's hard not to feel that way, honestly.
Yeah. And the Thunderbirds faithful, I know that they got to be feeling restless up in there. They want something to get up and cheer for. And, does sometimes when you fall into a hole like that, does it, I know the home ice advantage and being in front of a home crowd, but do you kind of get a little tentative sometimes when you play in front of a raucous barn that is just, when they got nothing to cheer for, they're just kind of, they're oh and on. You hear the groans, you hear the boos. Does that really get into you as when you're on the road and it's kind of like you're allowed to just kind of freeform and there's not a whole lot of pressure there when you're playing up?
Well, you definitely couldn't have told those kids they just showed on the broadcast. You couldn't have told them that they were down 3-0 because those kids were hyped.
I love it, though.
Me too.
But, I mean, all credit to Chicago. They're not really – I mean, yes, there was that one, 3-on-1 rush. But otherwise, they're staying on their assignments. They're staying with their guys. They're not really allowing too many of those odd man rushes from Springfield. I mean, we used the word suffocating before, and that's basically what it is. And now Chicago getting a power play here.
Speaking of a chance to suffocate, man. And I also have never watched. They just showed the box, and I did not notice that like the attendant actually throws on a mask when the player comes in. I was like, what's going on?
That was that's
Mackenzie McEachran for cross-checking, 2-minute penalty at 17:43.
Those kinds of cross-checks I'm not a fan of calling. It's the playoffs, man. Come on.
I kind of thought the same. I mean, to me, like that's kind of similar to the last Chicago penalty, right? I mean, a pretty weak cross-check.
Yeah, I figured, that's just kind of the standard that the refs are going to put on. And maybe, it's – I don't want to say Coach Warsofsky's comments have influenced the league in any bit or anything, but, it's when you got a coach that publicly calls out your officials, maybe they want a tight game or something to that effect. So you make sure that both teams are getting the similar kind of calls. And credit to the refs, they've set a standard that kind of call is going to be one that's going to put your team in the box. It's not, going against one side or the other. That was a great pass from, I believe that was Panik to Levo on the far side, I believe. Yes. And Lindgren coming up and, he's not giving up with 3 goals given up here. He's trying to keep his team in this. Nason at the front of the net. I mean, she's probably been the best net front presence in front of the league. This guy gets more rebounds and deflections into the net. I mean, there's a reason he was number 1 in the league in goals.
I think going back to your comment on officiating there, I do think the one thing that intrigued me a bit just looking back at the box score for it was that both teams, as you mentioned, did have similar numbers of opportunities on the power play. I know one team had 7 and one had 6. But it is kind of interesting. You set the standard and you'd have to be able to say, okay, well, this is getting called. We need to adapt our game here a little bit. But, either way, it still seemed like some things were going to get called no matter what.
It looks like we got another penalty coming up against Chicago here.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
that one is a call.
Yeah, I got to give it to him on that one. I mean, you can't really haul a guy down that way right there near the neutral zone and expect to not get called for it. Yeah, I mean, it's a tightly called game, but the consistency is there.
That was just unfortunate to see.
Nowhere near
stepped over his leg.
Yeah, you can't do that, Panik.
He more ran into his leg there, and he probably could have pulled away there a little bit, but saw Panik there. He didn't move his leg or anything like that either. So that's one of those penalties that just kind of stinks to have to deal with.
Of the box, and when you're up 3-0 on the road, there's no need for that kind. I get it might have been a look going the other way, but sometimes this team can be playing so well, and then they take a penalty like that, and it can be deflating. I think they thought they were on a penalty kill there, and they just decided to throw the puck down the ice.
Yeah, still just barely a 4-on-4.
We got 17 seconds here in the period.
Does that bother you guys at all? Because it bothers me sometimes when I see it live more so than anything, where, thanks to the icing penalty there, or, icing being no touch nowadays, they're able to get away with, I hate saying sandbagging that skate a little bit, but you saw Chicago Springfield was not skating super hard or, wanting to make sure that got over the goal line. And then, to get the icing, I kind of would have liked to seen that waved off personally, just because.
Yeah.
It's kind of a punishment for not skating your hardest and trying to get the puck back first. But I get it, of course.
Yeah, it's a ref by ref basis. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of the second, and Springfield's going to have 26 seconds of carryover time on the power play. But man, 3-0 Chicago. What are you guys thinking about this one?
Springfield had more of a jump this period, but they ended up, giving up 2 goals. I don't know. They're kind of back in a corner here. I don't think it's going to be in the cards for them in this game, but it's a long 7-game series over the course of 10 days. It's going to be a game of attrition for sure. Well, it's not just a game, but a series of attrition for sure. And they still got 2 more games at home here. So
I don't know. Third period's on deck. You can never count out Springfield when it comes to third periods. They've been, by and large, except for Game 6 against Laval, they really, have owned the edge. I'd love to know what the scoring differential is at this point for them in the playoffs. But, for a good while there, it was a hefty advantage they held in the third period in terms of, the, scoring type of thing. And, they came back from the Wilkes series down 4-1 to come back and eventually take that by a 7-6 final. They turned it around on Charlotte when it didn't seem like they were going to. Obviously, that wasn't a 3-goal deficit in Game 2 of that series, but it felt like, that kind of series. I still think the 3-0 deficit is a little dangerous, more so than it seems, because like we've said, Springfield's been right there. And, you get a goal, does it open the floodgates and, you get 2 quick ones and then press hard in the last 10 minutes type of thing? Or, whenever you get to within a goal and, try to pull a Game 1 and send it to overtime again.
I agree with all those points that you made. And Springfield's capable, and they've shown that they have. But Pyotr Kochekov is dialed in right now. How confident do you feel that Springfield is going to get 3 straight by them without giving up anything else coming back the other way? Because you got to cheat. If you're with 20 minutes left, you got to cheat to get your chances and to get looks in on them. So, kind of what Springfield has been doing great. I think they, their forecheck has been awesome. I think that they're getting there and they're grinding for their chances. But Kochekov and to credit the Wolves defense as well, they've been able to bail him out whenever he's been in trouble. But whenever the defense has been in trouble, at 3-on-1, Kochekov makes the stop, and there's nothing there for Springfield to clean up. I think that they're just he's dialed in. The defense is doing what they need to do, especially on the penalty kill, continuing to get those huge clears, to get those big shot blocks. They're getting to the pucks. They're working for it. It's I don't want to say a masterclass, because there's some things you can touch up in their game here and there. Some looks from Springfield I didn't like from the Wolves, but man, this guy is dialed in, and he's been dialed in since since Game 6 against Stockton. He had a really rough Game 4 in that series, and ever since then, he's just been playing some absolute lights out hockey.
I agree with the point there for sure. Because, I mean, you do have, like you said, it's definitely Springfield's tallest task to try to score 3 goals against. Is that likely? Not really against this team like Chicago. They are a stacked team who, again, it's their toughest challenge yet. It was hard to do against, a deficit in the Laval series. Is it in the cards? Probably not. But, you can never really count them out, especially with how fast they can get on a roll. They've been stonewalled so far, but you just get one and you just keep hammering away here in my mind. So I'm sorry, Dean, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, you are perfectly fine. So looking up the stats here. So when Springfield is trailing after the second here in the postseason, they do have a 3-3 record. So it's definitely not out of the question. But speaking of questions, though, my husband, again, sitting about 60 feet away from me on puppy watching duty, watching the feed, tweeting with the hashtag at THG Live. He wants to know, what do you guys think that Springfield needs to do to close the gap here in the third? Other than, get guys like Sam Anas, Will Bitten, Dakota Joshua on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to, they've been generating, as well as they have during the rest of these playoffs here. And, I like to see them do a little bit more of the plays, like crashing the net, getting some pucks. I do think that they've had some good success when they've been able to get the puck through traffic on point shots and, working it down low and, really getting those greasy kind of goals because, it's been their bread and butter here. I mean, we saw it in Game 1 as part of their comeback where, Brady Lyle, I think, is a great example of that. He's had a number of clutch goals from the point, shooting, just perfect seeing eye pucks from the blue line. Got to get a goal like that. Got to get a dirty goal from a guy like Will Bitten, like we saw him with arguably one of Springfield's best chances in the second where he stepped out to the net front, took a big hit for his troubles, but, took the puck to his strong side. I was shocked that didn't go in just because it was, a typical muck and grind kind of goal. And then, like you said, get your, snipers, your sharpshooters, the James Neals, the Sam Anases, the more guys like Will Bitten. The list goes on and on. Matthew Pekka immediately comes to mind as well there. That have dented the twine in big ways with big shots and, getting a power play goal would be fantastic for them as well. Because, I think that they've, aside from that first chance, both their power plays have generated good looks in my mind. Really dumb Springfield sets out to do on the power play. It's just a matter of getting one. And if they can, maybe sucker Chicago into a couple penalties, maybe, generate a 5-on-3. We saw them score one. Well, you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Get a 5-on-3 and score on it in Game 2, I believe they did. They can get a big chance like that. I think it's, it's an avalanche that's waiting to, be triggered in a sense. And I think that, 3-0 lead is more dangerous than what it seems in that respect against a, opponent and team that's prone to, big momentum swings like Springfield is. You can never really fully roll them out, even at 3-0 in a sense, if they get the ball rolling for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this game. I mean, a goal here on this power play to start the third period, like it's not obviously a must-have for Springfield, but if you can find a way to come out of the gates in this third period, get a goal, start playing your game, play the game you played in the second period. In reality, right? Like they played a solid second period, and they have played a solid game. It's just a matter of trying to solve Kochetkov, right? And it's much easier said than done. And also, per my Jeremy Paul math, which is my own special brand of math that may or may not be right, never can guarantee it. Springfield in this Calder Cup playoffs plus 17 in the third period. So 3-3 when they're down going into the third, but plus 17 overall. Quite the period for the Thunderbirds. So we'll see if they can pull off some of that magic, and we'll see if they can keep it going.
Gotta take away Kochetkov's eyes. If he sees the puck, it's getting stopped. You got to get what they did really well in game one, I think, was they got their defense involved in the offense and got those big booming shots. I mean, Brady Lyle and Matthew Kessel had the 2 big goals there at the end for the Thunderbirds. Get more of that. Get Tommy Cross more involved. Move, go start down low, move it up top, and then you can get your big bodies, get in front of him, take away his eyes, and just pound the puck at the net. That's all you can do. I mean, just 3 goals, not that big. I have to go fill up on some water, though. I'll be right back before this period starts.
After hearing Jeremy's tally there, can I retract my statement about it's probably not in the cards for Springfield tonight?
No, you're totally fine. I mean, but I think what you say speaks more to the actual reality of the situation, right? Like, this team has been in a similar situation 6 times in this playoffs. They're 50%. They're 500 in this situation. I mean, it's a flip of the coin as to whether or not they can pull it off. I would be curious to know, like, what's the biggest deficit they've overcome going into the third period this season. That's the kind of thing that makes me wish that we had an on-call statistician, but we don't. So if you're interested in that role, let me know. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to see if they can pull this off. I mean, it's going to be a fun third period. And I'm going to say this while Andrew's gone, so that way I don't get threatened. It's going to be a challenging third period for Chicago. Springfield's going to come out, and they're going to come out swinging. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good period of hockey.
Oh, you finished that thought up just in time. Good job.
If I'm not good at what I do,
you're amazing at what you do. The question is, did he hear it?
I did not hear it, so.
Okay, good.
Hey, there we go.
Good job, Jeremy.
Is that a bad thing?
You can listen to the replay.
It wasn't quite as dramatic as what Corey has said.
Did you say the word?
Depending on what the word is.
Don't stop saying the word, man. Stop saying the word.
Yeah, what's the word?
No. That's the word. No.
A clean sheet.
What happened to Tampa Bay in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final?
I'm sorry. Poor Victor Hedman looked like a lost and hurt puppy. That's why people were acting the way that they were acting, because whoever would have thought that you would get Victor Hedman, a Norris Trophy winning defenseman, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, looking like that. That's why people were acting in the way that they did. But they're back. They're better now.
Yeah,
he has his look-alike in the stands now.
Yeah. They look
that was him, right?
Wait, are you guys watching the NHL feed?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't have that.
I saw a video on social media where it looked like that. I think it was Victor Hedman, if I remember right. There was a guy in the stands who was wearing a hockey helmet that looked just like him, and they had them both at similar angles, and it was hilarious because it was a completely dead on. I don't know how some of those guys do that.
If you see that again, tag me, please. I need to see this.
I'll have to look that up then. I'm pretty sure the NHL posted it. I think I saw it on Instagram, if I remember right. So I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go looking for it again, of course. But
of course, it's all good.
Well, so what do we think is going to happen here to start off our third period? What do we think is going to happen?
Pressure.
Yeah, big time pressure from Springfield here. I think it's bold that you ask what our takes are going into the third period.
Well, our takes have been known to sway one way or the other, so I just want to know.
Do you want the super literal, or do you want my super sarcastic self?
Do you want at 9:14 of the period, it's going to be Will Bitton from...
what's going to happen in the third? The puck is going to drop. People are going to skate on the ice. A whistle will be blown. Water will melt under blades.
Can I just say that I am paying super close attention at the 9:14 mark, because if Will Bitton scores a goal at 9:14...
I am going to buy lottery tickets is what's going to happen.
For sure, you've got it.
What does he win?
An extra super swipe for the month.
Andrew, I'll pay for your ticket to get over to Chicago. Like, I'll pay for your travel to get over to Chicago. Will Benton scores at 9:14 of the third period.
I'll appreciate that.
There will be a goal at 4:35.
4:35. Just a goal. Like, no, we're not going to
a goal, not like
just a goal. I'm not feeling any particular person. I'm just feeling the number 435.
Well, I should probably so Jack Drury's got a goal in this series. Well, Andrew Podoraski's got a goal in this series. Will Bitton's got a goal in this series. But our one podcast guest who hasn't has been Sam Anas. So I'm going to say that Sam Anas is going to score in this third period. Maybe not at 9:14 because Will Bitton's going to be scoring there, but it'll be at a different timestamp.
I agree with that. I mean, I think he's been off the board for so long. It's got to be due, right? And especially if Springfield's going to have a shot in this one. Your best guy is going to be your best guys, and he's been a guy where I've been looking at him and Andrew Podorowski and be like, man, I would love to have either of those two guys on my team. The way they've been playing these playoffs, and I really think that Springfield's had guys come up clutch. I wouldn't be surprised if a depth guy comes up on the board. I mean, we saw Matthew Kessel step up for his first AHL goal in overtime in game one. So I think that you're going to get a contribution from someone you don't often see all the time on the board, and that could be anybody, honestly. I mean, Tommy Cross has come up with a couple of big goals every so often here too from the blue line. I also wouldn't be surprised, going along with that, if it's a defenseman that scores a goal from the blue line on a power play situation like this too, because you just got far too many guys that have, been able to do it before. I see Springfield, scoring a couple of goals and making it interesting down the stretch. At the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Laval series type response in store for us for game 4, for sure.
Yeah, I don't see a situation in this universe or any of the 14 billion universes that Doctor Strange looked into in which Springfield drops all 3 games at home. I mean, this team's too good up and down the lineup. I know that the score says 3-0, but I really don't think that they're getting blown out. They're skating with Chicago every step of the way. They're trading chances back and forth. It's not like they're getting run up on. They've just converted. I mean, it's a funny game. They just converted, man. And it is what it is. Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you. Tonight, Springfield, the bar is kind of eating them right now.
And, it's kind of funny. I always, find a way to bring it back to a Hershey type of situation. I was reminded of the 2006 Calder Cup Finals between the Bears and the Milwaukee Admirals. And back then, it was a back and forth series that Milwaukee went up 2-1 in game 3, which, included at least one game I can think of. I have to go back and look at the series again, but at least one game in Hershey, I know because I was there and the Bears got blanked that game and I was devastated. But, Hershey was down 2-1, won 3 straight and won the Calder Cup and made it not look close in some of those games too. So, I mean, although game 3 is a huge one to take, it's by far a death sentence for any team, for sure.
No, absolutely. I mean, I've always looked at game 4 as the one that really defines a series, because unless you're going into it up 3-0, game 4 is the one where you either put that 3-1 stranglehold in, or you tie it up 2-2, and then that best of 7 becomes a best of 3. So I think, Springfield's kind of like, okay, even if you don't come out with the result that you want in this one, you still have that middle home game, that first of a back-to-back. You still get a day of rest, which is like, oh my God, day of rest in the Calder Cup Finals. That's going to be incredible with this schedule.
Got 3 of those, man.
Yeah, right. No travel, you get a nice, you get a morning practice in, get to relax for the afternoon and see what goes on from there. But the series is by no means over by any stretch of the imagination, no matter what happens here tonight for either side.
Well, the players are back out on the ice. We're getting ready to drop the puck here on the third. We've got some players with some smelling salts, just typical.
Get the boys up.
Typical pre-puck drop things. So we've got who's that? Drury, and I can't tell who is out there for
Smallman. That's a righty. I think that's Smallman that's out there.
Right.
Off.
Oh, Drury's not taken. It's Smallman.
Yep.
Now on the penalty kill there too. Maybe there's some something to be said about that there as well, for sure.
For sure. Yeah. But we're dropping the puck. Springfield's going to get the power play for a minute 26 here. Puck's drops on the third. Chicago up 3-0. Let's see what Springfield can do if they can mount any sort of response here.
I mean, they've come out. They've gained control of the zone. They're doing what they've done, or what they did, on their last power play. They're basically doing whatever they want, getting the puck down behind the net.
Good entry. Yep. Look at the point. That's Nathan tied up there and shot in tight. Pacheco's got the post. Yeah.
I mean, Springfield's very up. It's going to be offsides there, so they gotta get out. But they weren't overly frantic or anything. It was just very slow, very deliberate actions there.
And I couldn't tell who that was. I'm watching on my phone, so a little bit smaller details here. I couldn't tell who that was on the blue line that got that puck out of the zone, but that was one heck of a play there on the blue line.
Yep, puck down out the ice, and here they come again. But all right, those entries were not generating a whole lot of great chances. They try and dump it in, and now they got the puck. So I like that they're
blue stick, man.
Oh no,
that hurts. I don't even want to see that, and I'm not rooting for them to score here. But then that's another big. There it
goes again. Get out of here.
Put that stick out of the way.
Whose stick is that?
My gosh.
It was a Chicago defender's stick. I saw I couldn't see the number, but I saw him sneaking off the ice there around the same time it hit the stick.
If you're a Thunderbird right now, how are you not just throwing that stick off to the side?
How are you not throwing your own stick off to the side after that?
All I can say is Steven Santini has one heck of a vertical on skates. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Also good to see Kevin Fitzgerald. He took the seat in game 2 for Griffin Mendel, who was a college free agent signing by the Wolves here, making his playoff debut in game 2 of the Calder Cup Finals. How are you now? And that must have, I'm sure that was some kind of message from coach for Fitzy. And he's back in the lineup here in game 3, another shot to prove he belongs. And which was really interesting for me, because up until game 2 of the final, Chicago had used just straight up 6 defenders the entire playoffs. And it was the same 6 the entire way. They were graciously lucky enough to not endure any injuries. And that unit's been playing so well on the blue line that they've never saw the need to make any changes. So obviously coach saw something in game 1 that he didn't like, saw the need to put Mendel in there. And here we go with the usual 6 suspects. And Fitzy's a guy. He's just all heart and soul, guy that you need to win in that lineup. And all right, that was an interesting chance, but Wolves can't get the clear, and Springfield keeps them hemmed in. But again, there's just not a lot of quality, clean looks here. Even on that power play, that chance from the side of the net, it's not great. I'd give it a solid B grade maybe, because you don't know, maybe you can tuck it in, but there's just not the middle of the hash marks against this team.
Podorowski just with a nice little breakaway, but could not get past Lindgren.
Okay. All right.
The one thing I think that you notice here a little bit more, and you can use this as a factor as much as you want type of thing. We are playing hockey here very late into June. I think much later than we've typically ever played into June in the playoffs, just as a generality. But the puck's been bouncing here a good bit too, and there could be a something to be said about the ice quality just in general, particularly being in a different building than Chicago, that could be, it just looks like it's bobbling a little bit on Springfield and key moments, and some both teams where, and winning those bounces is, almost like winning the lottery in a sense at times too, if you're getting the puck to, land flat on your stick, or, it's a dice roll more accurately, I should say. But
I've definitely noticed it much more in the first period. I'm, I don't know how much the maintenance crew can really fix it at that point, but I guess I just wasn't tuned in as much in the second and then early on here into the third. But you guys all know my, spiel about the Stockton ice, so I don't need to. For me, this isn't that bad. After I just watched 3 games in Stockton, this isn't that bad. Maybe I'm not as tuned into the quality we expect here in Springfield. Right, it's late June. We've been going through a couple heat waves. I know it was 96 here in Michigan. Now that's all pushing further east, so.
Oh, it's still 87 here in Columbus, Ohio, and it's 9:06 at night.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is over here in South Central PA. I think it was not quite 90, but pretty close. Let me take a quick peek here.
My car said it was over 100 degrees whenever I left work today. That was just gross.
It's too dang hot. It is too hot. My air conditioner is working on turbo right now. My air conditioner is going through it, and I cannot wait for my $419 electric bill.
I'm just happy to have power this week. I didn't have power last week, but I have it this time. So you all got to deal with me.
No, you keep us sane. You keep us far calmer as a group than
I was going to say this has been a fairly calm stream here.
Yeah, I've definitely not had my unhinged moments, and credit to the Wolves for playing a great game for that, because, Game 6 was it was a different animal, and I'm sure people were tuning in oh, let's watch this ginger kid lose his mind again. And sorry, I'm not Steve Dangle on a consistent basis, so this is kind of what you get. And I try, but I was also coming off a really bad round of golf and was just manifesting all of those vibes into that stream. So take it for what it's worth.
All I can say is they just showed on AHL TV one of the Springfield fans in their Isotopes specialty jersey. Low key, I want to get one of those.
High key, I want to get one of those.
So if anyone's looking for a birthday / Christmas combined present for me for this coming winter, that's high on my wish list.
I'll do a Will Bitten Isotopes jersey.
That was a cool promotion they had across the board there, because they drew some of the characters in the Simpsons, or some of the players in the Simpsons art style and stuff like that. Had that on social media. I really wanted to see a Nathan Walker back then, but he was not among the players to get represented in that. And I think I'd be going crazy if he were still playing in this, for Springfield right now. But unfortunately, was not made eligible for the postseason for whatever reason, unfortunately.
Yeah, how does that work? Postseason eligibility.
Well, it was unusual, and we've seen it with some players, not with others. Walker in particular was only up there from, I believe, the beginning of March, but just didn't come back. He played 40. He played more than half the season for Springfield. I'd be curious to see if he's eligible to get his name on the Calder Cup should Springfield win, as I think he played, over 40 games at least for Springfield, but they just didn't assign him or paper transaction him at the deadline for eligibility. So you have a guy that played the majority of the season, just not be able to get made. Surely they didn't want him scooped up on waivers or anything like that in a paper transaction too, surely. But very interesting the way that the eligibility situation worked this year. I know that was a big sticking point for Hershey, in a semi-related note that, a few of our regulars just couldn't come back to us. Then you have some players like Connor McMichael, who was made eligible but just never came back down here at all too, which makes that whole setup there very interesting for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not bitter at all about that by any stretch, of course.
It's not the impression I got either.
That's just the nature of the league, I mean, I'm sure Hershey would have loved to have him, but Washington loved to have him even more. So
yeah, that's the thing. You want these guys to make the NHL, but as Hershey, of course, being a little selfish, you think to yourself, man, if we could have just had this guy for like a week. And of course, they tried to do that with Joe Snively, which would have worked out. But of course, poor Joe Snively got injured in game one there and just never came back. So it's just not in the cards for the Bears this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so we're 6.5 minutes into this period, and it's got that first period feel to it where there's not a lot going on. I think Chicago's really been winning a lot of those board battles. And again, when you're so tight in terms of talent and compete like these two teams are, it's those little details. And they've been able to get, crawl the puck out, get it out, and take possession of it. But Springfield's just they're not generating a whole lot of these quality chances that you're down 3 goals, you got to put the puck in the net, man.
Well,
I was waiting for. Sorry.
Oh nope, it's okay. So I did reach out to the AHL and big stick taps to Jason Chimovich, who did clarify that for a player to have their name on the Calder Cup, they must play in at least one game during the postseason or dress as a backup goaltender to be eligible to have his name on the cup plaque.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for my guy Walker.
Man. Yeah, in the National Hockey League, there are all these other rules about number of games during the regular season. There's also a process that a team can nominate or kind of ask or lobby to have a player who's going through some extenuating circumstances to get their name on the cup. But rules are a little bit more strict in the American League.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a disappointment just because, you like to think any guy that gets in, half the season as my guy Nathan Walker did, that he'd be, at least eligible for a lobby type of thing like that, if not some, further consideration. But I get it, at some point you have to, let a guy that's only been there for some of the time, go in that way in a sense. But I was waiting for when Andrew was making those comments there. Springfield had at least one shot on net there. I was waiting for the commentator's curse there big time. To be, as he's saying, oh, they're struggling, they need to score here, and then, right on cue, that's when they'd score. But when it's not even going that way, you have to be concerned here for sure.
So what time did we say that Will Bitton was going to score?
Oh,
9:14, I believe.
So that's like the next shift.
All right. I said, 4:35 for literally anybody. So
I think 4:05.
We'll see who's closer. I thought I said 4:35. Okay,
4:35.
4:05. I should have wrote it down. I'm a bad moderator. We'll just see who's closer.
There we go. Are we doing
Plus,
Price
I don't
Right
see
rules
Will
where
Bitton
if
out
you go
there.
over, it doesn't count?
Nah, just literally closer.
Fair enough. See, Bucks play with a high stick. And
Smart play there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Chicago's just beating Springfield to these pucks right now. And I don't want to say the urgency isn't there for the Thunderbirds, but they're certainly they feel like they're a step behind here. And they had their day of rest, so I don't want to say it's fatigue because Chicago's playing under that same schedule, but they're just getting beat here in this third, and you got to generate more than they've done. This isn't what they've put into this period is just not going to do it.
Well, even when they're going to make the checks along the boards and stuff, a lot of times they're coming in just like a half second too late, and they end up checking the wood instead of checking a player. It's just, like you said, it's just a step off here.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's done a very good job of, as you guys said, keeping the puck away from being forechecked away. They've done a good job of using all 5 guys on the ice to, really make life miserable for Springfield to even establish themselves in the offensive zone. And, if I'm Chicago, I'm, on their coaching staff, I'm thrilled with how their guys are playing because they're, staying really together, really playing as a unit. You just saw there, one guy trying to break through, you got 4 guys making a box, and it's just hard to even get the puck to the middle, find that free guy with any kind of space or any kind of freedom to be able to make a play. And, it's really making Springfield pay for their inability to put the puck in the net earlier in the game. Because, here we are, 11 and a half minutes to play. Task just keeps getting tougher every single time.
Ooh.
Springfield pushing just a little bit here in these last few seconds.
Again, it's just not threatening enough to me.
Right. There's no one in front of the net. Kochetkov makes the save, and you got no one in the vicinity. At least make him, second guess himself, Do something. I mean, there's just...
It's a byproduct of, I think, Chicago's defensive structure with that box, though, because it's harder for their guys to get through, to get those... They're number one, Springfield's being forced to take their shots a little sooner than I think they'd like. And it's just the point where, you're just physically not able to get to the net front any faster than those defenders that are already plugged themselves in right there, too. Yeah. And I get it. Springfield's also had their, licks in when they're doing what they're doing now, where they get the puck in deep, win it off a forecheck. You get the guys turning, their backs to you type of thing and, losing their momentum. But at this point, it's like trying to hammer through a brick wall at this point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Chicago, recovers there. James Neal has the puck there below the goal line, and he kind of freezes, his options close up, and then Joey Keene's in there to take the puck away and then move it out of the zone. You get the puck behind the goal line and you get nothing out of it. The recovery is quick. Their structure really just shuts down any options that you have, and then you're going the other way.
So close there. Witkowski getting to Santini. Santini sending the puck in, but goes right off the post. He had Kochetkov beat, but not the iron.
Got to take his eyes away. I'm saying if Kochetkov sees the puck, he's stopping the puck. There's no other way about it.
And how many times have we seen? This has just been a kind of a theme for Springfield here, especially in the Laval series. I think, we saw they hit so many posts. There were times where you'd say, okay, can we play posts, with where, posts count as goals type of thing. That happened to them a lot of times. And, those are games they didn't recover in. But, which is why I said in the intermission where you just get one, you get the monkey off your back, and you start to have the belief that, hey, this is going to go in for us if we keep doing these things right. But whereas at this point, it's just another thing where it's like, man, we get to it, we get a great chance, and then suddenly this puck is hitting the outside of the post. We don't even get a good break out of it.
Massive save just now.
Great save.
Andrew, you are so close to being very right. 9-9 or 9-17.
Oh my God! I almost called that. I almost manifested that.
They even ran a couple seconds off the clock there to get it closer.
One thing I've noticed about AHL, I'm loving these kids dancing on the screen behind the Chicago bench right now.
Was that Will Bitton on the chance there? I think
it was.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
Wow, I almost manifested that whole thing. Oh my God.
I
almost just lost a few $100.
Yeah, especially if I factor in the gas on the way in. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no, it was all inclusive. We were getting you there. At that rate, I would have made you pick me up on the way over.
Love those. Look at this kid. This kid's the MVP of the night. Not him.
The little shirtless kid dancing.
Yeah. We have our oof of the week, but this kid earns the dub of the week 100%.
Well, we've got a power play for Springfield coming up, it looks like. Richard Ponique in the box at 10:43, 2-minute penalty for roughing.
Yeah, stop me if you've heard this before.
Yeah, Panik in the box. Never.
Yeah.
So we got Pekka, Neal, Joshua, and Rosen again out there for Springfield on the power play here.
I'm watching the home team feed, and I have to say that I love the little replay graphic that the Springfield broadcast has on.
It's
nice.
not.
I will say it's not as conductive for replays because they're usually not as instant as a lot of other teams are.
I have to tell you that I'm worried that it's going to get to Bitten, and Bitten's going to put it. Is Bitten on the ice?
I don't see him after that shift.
Thank God.
Oh, no dice. I forget which team does it, but there's one team that does replays. It might be Cleveland that does replays like during the action.
They do.
And that irritates me so much. I'm sorry, Jeremy. That's gonna suck for you. But
I'll find a way to get over it.
But I've always been like so worried that like they do like in-game, like literally in-game replay, and I'm worried I'm gonna miss a goal or something, which I'm sure obviously
it's happened.
It's happened
more than once. If I'm being totally honest.
Like wait for the whistle.
Can I just say that you think it would happen one time and somebody would be like, maybe we should never let that happen ever again, as opposed to like it being.
That's not.
At least have your AHL
Colorado
TV
just scored on the power play. It's 1-1 in that game.
All right, 1-1 in the NHL, 3-0 in the AHL. There's a minute 13 now.
Get the puck in, and
there's a bouncing puck right there.
Can't keep the puck in the zone.
What did I say?
That was definitely a bouncy puck.
Joshua unable to. I got nervous.
Ooh.
Charlie Lindgren handled the puck.
Can't get it in, and Wolves clear. That puck was a little behind him. I think if it was forward a little bit, that was a better chance than what it actually was. It looked better than. See, Dina just keeps doing these noises and I'm 5 seconds, solid 5 seconds behind, and I'm like, what happened?
Do I need 5 seconds?
Big save, Kocheko.
Okay, here. Pause. 1,
Alexandro.
2, 3.
I just refreshed my feed and it's 5. A little further ahead now.
There. I paused for 5 seconds. We should be good.
There we go.
You let me know when the puck drops, and I'll try to line it up.
All right.
I mean, you don't think we're watching the same feed. Okay, and puck.
Hold on. They're still coming. They're still coming to the zone, and the puck is dropped.
Okay, I just hit play, so we should be synced now.
We should be in sync. Okay, sweet. Oh, that was an interesting bounce. Throw the puck at Kocheko. I mean, things happen in playoff hockey. Especially if the ice isn't working for you, the pretty plays aren't going to be there. You got to just shoot. You got to get greasy. You got to get ugly and just hope for the bounce. I mean, look at that. Look at that bounce. And it comes right to Bitten in the goal mouth. Bounce. And, I mean, he can't get a stick on it, but Kochekov's also a giant, huge Russian monster. And that was a take. I've never seen it. Oh.
Just took Chatfield is so Chatfield went down from a hit by McGing, solid takedown, and then Chatfield comes right back once he gets back onto the ice and cross-checks him right in the back.
I mean, let the boys play at that point.
Yep.
4, 5, 4, a couple seconds left, and this good pressure at the blue line by Nason, and that's another penalty kill by the Wolves. I mean, they've been perfect in this game.
Huge PK there.
Yep.
Five for 5 today.
Yeah, I hate the 5 opportunities.
Yeah, you just gotta not.
Yes, and then Springfield goes and does that on that's a bad penalty by Costin. That you can't just take the guy down in the corner. On the forecheck, you gotta keep your stick free of the guy's skates, man.
Yeah, this whole subject of Springfield taking bad penalties like this is real.
He takes him down.
Not great.
Go to the box, feel shame.
Yeah, and you got to feel with 6:52 to go here. If Chicago pots this one, then it's probably donezo, I'd say, for this one.
I mean, I will say, like, I feel like this series, more than most playoff series that you'll see, has been played outside of 5-on-5. Like, it's just been so much special teams in the series to this point, which I mean is just so uncharacteristic for playoff hockey. And you obviously got to change your game plan, right? Like, if you're both of these teams, like if these games are going to be called like this, like, you have to be ready to make every amount of difference on the kill, on the power play. Like, that's where you're going to win these games, which is a little bit unlike what we're used to.
Yeah, Chicago's like 5-on-5. What's that?
Right.
So, Corey, question for you. Is Springfield one of those teams that likes to follow the pull the goalie for 2 minutes for every goal they're down type of team?
Say that again, sorry? I'm not sure I understood it.
Okay, so I've noticed quite a few teams like to follow the logic of whenever they pull the goalie, it's 2 minutes for every goal that they are currently down.
I see.
So is Springfield that kind of team?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I think they will here at some point when they, kill this penalty off. And, you got to think about it earlier rather than later, especially down 3, just to try to, you don't have anything else to lose at this point, really. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull the goalie ambitiously. How ambitiously? I mean, it may be 2 minutes at this point. I think anything else would be, I think at this point, it's got to be get the puck in deep, pull the goalie, try to establish possession, just go from there, frankly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, there is action still going on. 5:10 remaining in the third. Now there is 13 seconds. Okay. Scratch that. 5:05. There is a whistle blown. 13 seconds remaining on the Chicago power play. We're still 3-0 Chicago leading.
I mean, not too many huge chances for either team so far in this third period. I mean, it's been pretty back and forth. Both teams, finding ways to establish the zone and, get a couple of shots off here and there, but a couple of Springfield opportunities, that Podorowski breakaway, but nothing that's really made you think that either one of these teams had a chance of netting one. And in these last 5 minutes, right, like, Springfield has got to put the foot on the gas, and I think it goes back to your point, Dina and Corey. Like, got to be a little ambitious with getting the extra man out here.
Boy!
Oh man!
Another penalty coming up. I think that's
man,
that's a dagger, man.
Yeah, that's hurtful. I mean, they were flying the zone, trying to get it out, and were caught cheating at the blue line a bit. And I think that was Vladnia that made the play, because of course it was. And it leads to a chance at the goal. Play still going on here with the extra man, and the Springfield defender was forced to kind of take his man down to stop an even greater chance. And they're just moving the puck around, trying to kill.
This is the longest delayed penalty. I mean, they're just cycling it.
Why not?
Why not?
There's 4 minutes left. You're up 3-0. See, that's what I
feel bad for the ref. His arm has to be getting tired by now.
Yeah.
And there it is.
You see the frustration setting in here that you can see.
Rosen is pretty tired after that shift.
Okay, so when did that get called?
That was a solid like 30 seconds at least of just straight possession.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and find.
I want to say it's gotta be.
Okay.
I mean, here's my question. If
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're Coach Bannister, right? Like, if you're talking through, like, what, like, is it his turn? Is it his turn to start talking about officiating? Like, it's like just like a chess match.
Well, the intriguing thing to me at this point is if, the stands, which, it looks like has a pretty good chance of it, this will be the first time Springfield's lost back-to-back games this entire playoff. I mean, which is, insane to think about. I mean, I'd be curious to go back and look and see when the last time that happened, period, for them, frankly. I mean, it could be back as far as back-to-back losses to the Bears back in early to mid-April, I should say, is at least one that comes to mind from being on the other side of it. But, this would be another bit of new territory for them. I mean, again, it's only 2-1 they're down. So, they could just have a response like they did in the Laval series and be fine. But still, this is a crucial game because it ensures that at the very least we're going back to Chicago and they'll have to win on the road.
So that was a 53-second delayed penalty.
Oh, boy.
Man.
The arm went up at 4:41, and the penalty was not called until, or I guess the whistle did not blow until 3:48.
Tough.
I mean, I guess I should have, I don't know, instead of saying there would have been a goal at 4:35, saying that there'd be a penalty at 4:35, because I would have been almost spot on. I would have been 6 seconds away.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's, you got to give credit to Springfield for the way they played at the start of this game, the way they played in the second period. This has been a lifeless third period.
It really has been.
And Chicago will 100% take the lifeless, boring third period on the road.
Oh, absolutely. And if my Jeremy math is correct, if this score holds up, 17 minus 3 is plus 14. So Springfield might come down to plus 14 in the third period this season or this postseason.
So I'm seeing multiple people ask this question, and we kind of saw this in Springfield series against Laval with the power play, but then it came back in that game 7 with resounding success. But is their power play broken again, or is this just a case of Chicago's just that stifling that even if Springfield's power play was clicking, it still wouldn't convert?
Chicago was 26 for 27 in that series against Stockton on the penalty kill. Their penalty killing is really, really good. I mean, when you got guys like Spencer Smallman and Jack Drury up top, and then they're backstopped by
Here we go, Lindgren's out.
Max Lajoie and Jalen Chatfield. And then, oh, by the way, when you're all done with that, you got to beat one of Pyotr Kochekov, and there's Stefan Nason.
There's 4.
With the empty netter, and we might as well call that game at this point. But one of either Kochekov or Lyon, it's a tough nut to crack. It's really been the backbone of this team's run in the end because they put themselves in so many bad positions with penalties, and they've been able to come through with it in the end and build off them and win.
So that's Nason's 9th of the playoffs, I think, something like that.
I want to say that sounds right. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number, but it sounds
Back
right.
to meeting the on-call statistician.
Don't say that too loud. My husband is a numbers whiz, and he will probably volunteer for that.
Come on in.
Yes, the league is confirming that's number 9 for Stefan Nason. That is going to be empty net goal, unassisted, and I mean that's gotta ice this one.
Yeah,
they're coming off of a 4-assist night in game 2, so it keeps the point streak there rolling pretty strong here in the Calder Cup Finals. If he doesn't have one already, at least.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Levo with a couple of assists, but it's with 4 goals. I mean, you have he's the only player with multi-points in this one. It just kind of goes to show the incredible depth of this team that they can get contributors from everywhere up and down the roster. You know, Jalen Chatfield, Ivan Lodnia kind of sliding in that bottom 6, Richard Panique. This team requires all hands to pull on the same length of the rope, and they've done it in this one. I mean, this is kind of the perfect road game that you want to play the first game in on enemy territory.
Well, we didn't say the word, but the Springfield broadcast sure did.
Yeah, I know. He's just trying to play spoiler at this point.
I mean, but all the credit to the Thunderbirds, though. They really are trying to keep this game close. They're only one shot less.
I mean, you think back to a couple of those posts. I mean, we had Dakota Joshua early, and then, here in the third period, I believe, I'm trying to remember who shot it on a power play, I believe, hit the outside of the post. You just think if those two posts, and this has happened to Springfield before, if two of those posts go in the net instead, what kind of game are you looking at? If a couple of chances go in and they don't, it's just been what's ailed them at this point. They could be at least contending in a 1-goal game, or have been beaten on an empty netter type of thing. But it hurts sometimes when those are the chances you look back at in the game and say, wow, those ones should have gone in. And maybe there are a couple others here and there too, of course. It just could be a totally different game if you get a break at the beginning and it's 1-1 after one rather than 1-0, and you're denting iron at times, it seems like, too.
Yeah.
Well, we're down to 40 seconds remaining, and another stick save there by Piotr. This is all about goaltending now.
Yeah, and they get another clear out of the zone. We got 23 seconds. It's all formality at this point.
Yeah.
So, not quite so unhinged, Drew, as we kind of marketed this one to be. I'm sorry that our viewers for not quite getting. I don't want to say you won't get your money's worth, because any Chicago fan that's in here right now is 100% getting their money's worth, because that is the final buzzer. The Wolves take a 4-0 win in Game 3. Pyotr Kochetkov with 36 saves for his second shutout in these playoffs. I mean, just, again, I said it before, but the perfect road game for the Wolves as they come in here and take the first game away, and they take home ice advantage back away from the Springfield Thunderbirds.
That game wasn't what I expected. I expected a little bit more of a jump from Springfield, but I'm also trying to remember that this is a very young organization that hasn't been in this position since the early 90s. So they're not like the Wolves that have had guys like Andrew Podorowski that are very recent Calder Cup winners and know what it takes and what it means to play in these games and how to manage the emotion and the expectations and the nerves and all that. So who knows? Maybe this was just a first game in front of the fans. We let our emotions get the best of us. It wasn't a good game, and it's going to be lights out come Game 4. But I don't know. It's but Pyotr Kochetkov with the shutout. Just amazing performance here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see a lot of the things there. I think the best way to put it is, the maximum potential for Chicago was reached in this game. They got 4 goals on the board, suffocated Springfield into, us saying, sitting around here saying, this is a boring game, when there was a, total of 70 shots for both teams on the board here. They made what could have been a close game look boring and look tame. And, really, I think one of the few instances of these playoffs of, Springfield really being collared in a lot of ways and grounded, not looking like their usual electric selves. But I expect them to, respond strongly in Game 4 as they have multiple times in these sorts of losses too. When you think to yourself, are they going to be searching for answers? Is it going to be a soul searcher? And they bounce back like it never happened. Similarly to how Chicago's bounced back from that Game 1 setback there, where that was, you had to wonder about it just a little bit. I'd expect the same thing to happen in Game 4. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd be looking at, a best of 3 at some point here too, or, it would take a lot for this sort of thing to happen again, is I think my takeaway from this too. But, far from an impossibility, that's for sure. Like you said, the veteran experience for Chicago is there, and that's been a difference maker for sure.
Well, Andrew, I just plug your ears, mute me or something, because you will not like what I'm about to say, because it's a stat here. And I don't want him to say no, but it's a valid stat. Okay. So in the Calder Cup Finals history, across all of history, when a series has been tied at 1 apiece, the Game 3 winner has gone on to win the cup 72.2% of the time, which is 26 out of 36 times that this has happened.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't want you to totally jinx it, and that's not a total jinx. That's just, stats. It's not saying they're going to win. That's just saying historically they've done this, and it is what it is. But I feel like they've what a first game on the road here. So now you've kind of taken home ice advantage back. You could even drop the next 2 games and you'll still be okay heading back home. I think that's really a huge deal for this team, and now the net has to be Kochekov's, right? Look at what he's done his last 3 games. 2 shutouts, a huge game 2 win to get his boys back into this series. And what a road game from him. I mean, there were some times where the Thunderbirds were absolutely crashing and banging right in front of him, right on top of him, basically. I'm recalling back to that 3-on-1. And just cool, calm, collected. I think this team they love his swagger that he brings to the net. And he's been incredible for them all year long. I said after his first couple of games that he would get the net in the playoffs. Now, him unfortunately being called up to Carolina, allowed Alex Lyon to really wrestle that away. But I don't know how on Friday you don't put Kochekov back in there and really put a stranglehold on the series.
All right, guys. Once again, Chicago getting the shutout over the Springfield Thunderbirds in Game 3. Just final thoughts here before we wrap this up. Again, 4-0 win for Chicago on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you have to expect that Game 4, it's a Friday night in Springfield. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a good time. You cannot expect for a lot of Springfield's high power, offensive talents to be kept off of the scoreboard again. Samanas, Will Bitten. I mean, it's just going to be a masterclass in an attitude check, right? Like can this team come back in front of their fans on a Friday night and even the series up? I mean, I know, like, Andrew, cover your ears. Like, this is the kind of thing. I want to see the series go 7. I mean, can Springfield come back and guarantee we're going to get at least a Game 6? Like, let's see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the series isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. And if anything we've learned about this Thunderbirds team is that they know how to respond to adversity. I feel like Game 2 was kind of like, all right, we got that first one in Chicago. We got it in our back pocket. Game 2 didn't really go our way, so whatever. Well, now you just got smacked in the mouth here in Game 3. And this team that's known to respond now has that Game 4 where I said before how pivotal that is. You either tie this up at 2-2 and you make it a best of 3, or you're down 3-1 and your back's against the wall. So, which really kind of puts that, like, Lindgren did not play a bad game tonight, I don't think. But if something does happen in that Game 4 and you're not super comfortable with him, you got to go back to back on a weekend against a team like this. You can't start Hofer, right? You got to go to Lindgren. I mean, he's your ride or die at this point. I feel like he but that's a tall ask. I mean, I know at this level these guys are used to those, but in the playoffs, that's the thing. Chicago can put Kochetkov out for Game 4, and then with the dagger in their hand, they can turn to a guy like Alex Lyon to possibly close the deal out, or if it doesn't go their way, they have those options. Whereas Hofer was incredible to start off this playoff, and he hasn't quite been the same since. So I don't want to say it's this Game 4 is a must win, but you kind of got that feeling it's a must win for Springfield. I mean, I said before, and I still believe that they're not going to lose all 3 games at home. It's just this team responds too well. They're too good. They have too much talent. But that's a statement from Chicago to go in that Thunderdome, and they really gave this team those Springfield fans nothing to cheer about. Literally, I mean, shut them out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for Springfield, it's their toughest task for response yet in these playoffs. I mean, we haven't seen anything quite like it in this series where they've lost, first time they've lost back-to-back. We had that question the first time they lost a game, especially on home ice in the Laval series. And, to their credit, they came back and they, again, made it look like it never happened. Like they've been here 100 times and they're going to continue to keep playing a big series. And so I don't have many doubts that, that Springfield's going to come back and at least give it, they're all, and as we were saying earlier, I mean, you get one of those posts to go their way again, it could be a different game. It could be a different series at this point. A lot of things could be different if those things just kind of go their way there a little bit. So I'm interested to see what they're going to bring to the table. I'm interested to see if there's going to be any changes, if they're going to go, to Hofer or stick with Lindgren. I mean, at this point, they're confident in both. I would assume it's going to be Lindgren, Hofer, back to back, because they have not changed that at all so far in this playoff. So, but again, they're facing their tallest task. Chicago's not the other teams that they've been able to come back on so far this playoff. It's just a different story. I think, it just has to prove to Springfield, can they up their game that far one more time? And that's the question they're going to have to answer when they come out to play on Friday night.
All right, with a 4-0 victory in Springfield, the Chicago Wolves take a 2-1 series lead. Just looking ahead at the schedule here, Game 4 is going to be Friday nights at 7:05 in Springfield, then turning right back around 24 hours later on Saturday. So we got a Friday-Saturday kind of weekend matchup here, both at 7:05, before the series shifts back to Chicago on Tuesday, the 28th at 7 o'clock, and then Wednesday, the 29th at 7. So that's going to be it for our live stream of the Holy Grail. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for sharing the podcast, for liking this live stream, for interacting with us. It's been great to bring this to you. I'm not sure if we're going to have more of these as this series progresses, but if you want to be notified if we do, be sure to follow us at the Holy Grail on Twitter. You can also follow Field Pass Hockey's YouTube account and Field Pass Hockey on Facebook to get these notifications as well. So, but if you want to talk to us in the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at FPHAHL.
You can find me at FPH Wolves, or I guess I'm going to throw out at FPH Griffins as well. I know. I have.
You're not even using FPH Griffins right now, are you?
No, I haven't logged on in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Understandable.
You can find me over on CSWA11 or at HPH Nation Blog on Twitter.
And you can follow me at FPH Monsters. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say after that. You can follow me there.
And that's, like I said, that's going to be it. So on behalf of Jeremy, Andrew, and Corey, thank you all once again, and have a great night, everyone.